You found TonyBasilio.com, home of the Tony Basilio Show. In just a few minutes, we'll be right with you with another award-winning, action-packed edition of your Tony Basilio Show. You found Radio Free Tennessee. Your Tony Basilio Show will begin momentarily. Keep it locked in right here at TonyBasilio.com and on your Tony Basilio app. And hey, do us a favor. Spread the word.
Lepa. Oh, whoa, whoa. Da la da. Ba 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 ba. Da la da. Da la da.
WJBE 1040 AM 99.7 FM. Translator W259AB. Powell, Knoxville.
Balee, ladies and gentlemen, Balee. Let me adjust my external volume in here for our folks listening on Twitter, Twitter Spaces, and where else are we? Twitter video. Over at shout out to my friends at YouTube today. YouTubers, I'm going to check in with you here in a little bit. So if you go to our YouTube channel at Tony Basilio Show and like and subscribe there. We are going to be doing a Tennessee basketball download video hopefully later this afternoon. But let me bring, without further ado, in here the great Beano Jeff Henderson, as Brian Hartman remains on assignment today. Beano, Jeff, we're flying solo today. Can we handle it? Lo these many years, big boy.
I don't know, Tony. It'll be tough without Briny Boy, but we will endeavor to persevere.
I'm nervous, man. I'm nervous.
Always, Tony. It's a show of record.
Shout out to the underdog in life. If you're listening to me and you're the underdog, say you didn't come in through the front door, you had to come in through the back door. In whatever situation you're in, shout out to the underdog everywhere. Shout out to Beano's $10 bet over at VIP Play. Beano, if the boys cut it down from Coastal, how much will Beano Jeff win?
A big $75.
There you
Tony.
go.
And I may be banned from VIP Play after one $10 bet.
Well,
for being a sharp.
You are pretty sharp, Beano. I've called you.
Hey, Tony, I didn't do this on Friday. Do this on Friday, but should have. Happy Father's Day to all you fathers out there. I'm not one, but I had a great one, and I appreciate all of you. Shout out to Polly Joe after your call Friday, except one. I'm just kidding you, Polly Joe. I'm going to use your line on you.
Moms give birth, dads give life, my saying. Moms give birth, dads give life. I coined that. I believe it's accurate. JJ Spawn, there's a JJ Spawn in all of us, ladies and gentlemen. 5th player in the last 100 years to win the U.S. Open after never having made the cut at the event. This kid, Matt Dixon, reminded me, won the Knoxville Open like 7 or 8 years ago. This is a guy that played the Latin American Tour, the Canadian Tour, the South American Tour. Did I say Latin American? I don't know. Whatever they're calling it now. He's played every tour in America, every tour basically on the undercard. Got in that spot, and extremely, extremely compelling watching those guys at the highest level struggle to get home. Had never finished top 20 in a major prior to yesterday. Went right through. And, all politics are local. We make that Final Four thing in basketball look so difficult. And a guy like that just gets on the stage and says, there's the ceiling. I'm going right through it. Never finished top 20 in a major prior to that. Had 6 bogeys in his final round. Most in the final round by a U.S. Open champion in the last 20 years. Was +5 yesterday after 6 holes and still won. I mean, I'm talking incredible here. I'm talking that's amazing. So congratulations to him. And as the son of a mushroom grower, we always cheer for Spawn, Bino. We always cheer for Spawn because that's where your mushrooms come from. The seed, the spawn. So I don't know if you watched any of the U.S. Open over the weekend. The other story I was talking with Bino about, this Coastal Carolina team last night, I'm watching that College World Series game. Their starter went out there and shoved for 7+. And, hey, I would not sleep on Coastal Carolina cutting them down after the first 3 days of that event, Bean Star. Would you?
They're in the best position of anyone right now, Tony. Somebody has to beat them twice to keep them from making the championship series, and they look like a really, really solid baseball team. And I guess their limitations are from the power side of things. In that ballpark, I'm not sure that that's a huge deficit.
It's amazing. If you have a few gap hitters in that ballpark, and you can just get the ball over outfielders' heads as they've been able to the first couple games, and then you can keep the other team in the ballpark with your pitching, you're going to have an excellent chance. Plus, they field it really, really well. I'm not picking on the 2025 edition of the Vols, Bino, but every team I've seen out there, with the exception of the second baseman from Arizona, every team I've seen so far in that field fields the ball exceptionally compared to us. All of them. These teams are all making plays, for the most part, right in front of them. The kids from Coastal are diving into fences, catching balls. Kid made an incredible catch against the wall yesterday. But it's been a fun College World Series so far. I've watched a great bit of it. So it's been really excellent, actually.
Yeah, I watched much more of it than I thought that I would, Tony. I didn't get an opportunity to see much of it on Friday, but Saturday and Sunday I've seen just about all of the action there. And, it's been good. And you're right. You get to, unless you just have, kind of a generational offensive team, when you get to that level, you have to take some hits away. And you can't give people extra outs.
That's all. And in that deal the other day, Arizona had a second baseman let a ball go under his glove. Even a play in college, you should make 99 out of 100 times. And it resulted instantly in 3 runs because that's just how it works when you make an egregious error like that. So, Bino, you're a Yankee fan. What would have happened if the Red Sox would have traded Devers during your series? Would people have come in there and protested, and would that have been an ugly scene in Fenway? Because they had that deal done, but they waited till the weekend was over to announce it, Beanstar.
Well, of course they're going to wait until the Yankees are out of there. I mean, Devers has absolutely killed them. He's hit 31 career home runs on them. I think there's only 6 other Red Sox in history that have hit that many against the Yankees. He's been an absolute Yankee killer. I don't think the Red Sox are going to be as good without him, but I don't blame them in the least. There's only so much I won't do that a franchise can take.
Yeah, and the backstory is that got off to a bad start back in spring training when they asked him to play a different role, and he basically has been a diva the whole time, and he got sideways with their manager. And hey, the Giants end up getting a potentially a franchise type player who's under control. But to Bino's point, one player does not a team make. I don't care who the player is. And you're only going to put up with so much before you say, adios, see you, wouldn't want to be you. The next item on up for grabs this weekend was, Bino, you don't lurk around on Twitter, but Laura showed me this. The gal who played third base for the Lady Vols in softball, who went to the Texas Tech super team. Her father had a meltdown for the ages over the weekend, going after some and josting with some Tennessee fans on Twitter. I don't know if these people were Lady Vol fans or just twidiots out to stir him all up, but at any rate, it got to the point where he tweeted out some questionable things, and ended up with him deleting his Twitter account. Always a good sign, Bino, when you have to delete your Twitter account, when you just got to walk away and say, you know what? These people are on me like white on rice, like flies at a family picnic. Our Twidiots, Beanstar, have a way of buzzing around on people, and I don't know if it was the Twidiots, but it just seems like people under that banner of Vol Twitter have a way of just buzzing around on these people. And then Karen Weekly was out there, over the weekend, and she was complaining about the tampering. Karen, I love you, and I'd say it's any coach. Y'all can't complain about tampering. Y'all do it to each other. Come on now. Y'all do it to each other. Bino, can any of these coaches complain? She got a kid from Oklahoma a couple years ago, one of their best players. You think that girl just magically appeared on a roster? I mean, you think Tony Vols, like we've been talking about, you think those people tamper with other players on other rosters? Are you going to be kidding me? Of course they do. How do you think this catcher out of the MAC, who led MAC in everything, fielding, hitting, the whole deal, all-world type player, how do you think that kid just appeared on the radar, the kid from ETSU last week? So I'm not saying anything toward her that I wouldn't say to her anything else. We told you, Bino knows, behind the scenes, Tennessee was involved with this Lanier kid for months before he went into the portal. Months. So, Beanstar, how about that? She's upset that they're tampering in her sport.
Yeah. Tony, I can understand the frustration of losing one of your very best players. My guess is that's really, really widespread.
And by the way, Texas Christian University is doing the thing that I think everybody ought to do. I think you ought to pick a sport and say, we're going to put our money in that and try to win a national championship in it. I don't know why Vanderbilt doesn't do it. Which brings us to our main event. Orange Throat today wrote a piece over at tclub.team, a what-if piece. And it's going to coincide with part 2 of our conversation regarding Josh Heupel from Friday. So we're guest-free today. And so we're going to have a good hour and a half plus to kick this around. Josh Heupel and Tennessee, and when you look at him, you're going to answer this question for me, and you're going to tell me why. Glass half empty, glass half full. Glass half empty, glass half full. And for the matter of the conversation, I was looking up where Tennessee's current recruiting class is, this class they're putting together right now. And depending on the service you look at, like, I think 247 has the class in the 20s. Rivals and kind of what's left of that has them in the 30s. And then the On3 people, of which VolQuest is one of their biggest properties, has them like 9 in America. Now, I don't know how you can go from like 25 to 9. I don't pretend to understand how these people put their ratings together. But they're not exactly recruiting at the top of the sport. Now, they're not recruiting at the bottom of the sport either. They're recruiting kind of where Tennessee's sort of always recruited. Would you say that's fair and accurate, Bino? I mean, everybody here has had, 9-ish to 15-ish type recruiting numbers. Everybody that's been here, right? I mean, because it's a great spot to be in. It's a great school with a lot of money, a lot of tradition.
Yeah, most everyone has recruited pretty well here, Tony.
So we're going to get into that. I want to hit the reset button. I want Bino to give his thoughts. And then Thrody asks, what happens if, and then we'll open it up on the TLD Logistics phone lines. Just as something to think about, an exercise to kind of consider, what if it becomes like the old days where everybody's got equal footing and you can't money whip people anymore and you really are on a budget? I think that would really hurt Josh Heupel if you really got on a budget. I think it would hurt him. Because I don't know that he has recruiting firepower on his staff, especially offensively. Tony, why are you saying that? Because people I trust that follow the recruiting game, people I believe, say that. So, and one thing about me, I try to keep my mouth shut and learn from those that, like the X's of the world. I try to keep my mouth shut and try to learn from people that's what they do. And it doesn't look like they have a tremendous amount of recruiting firepower. And Heupel's he's not salesman-y. He's football coach. I made the point when the NIL era first occurred, he's in the right spot at the right time because he's more of a pro coach. The way he relates to people, he sort of has a no-frills approach. He's not going to go beat your doors down looking for plays. This guy's not Lane Kiffin. He's just not. The guys like Lane Kiffin wake up in the morning with one thing on their mind. That's recruiting. Saban was like that. Tony Vitello's like that. And do you take that personally, Bino, that I say Josh Heupel's not like that? Because he's not like that. It's not his game.
No, I don't take that personally. I think that's accurate.
And so what is interesting, though, is that, and you can't deny this, even Heupel's naysayer to the core out there can't deny this, the guy gets the most out of what he has. To take a team quarterbacked by Nico, I can't wait to leave you, to 10 wins against any schedule, and I know the schedule was pretty generous last year. Still beat Alabama. Still got to a playoff. And if the schedule would have been laid out the way in the playoff, if the playoff format would have been laid out the way it should have been laid out, we'd probably feel a lot better about our football team right now if we'd have gotten a win before going to Georgia and getting whacked. Because that's probably what would have happened. And that's okay. Everybody in our league is taking their lumps to the hands of Georgia. I don't know if you've noticed that, but that seems to be what's happened here. But when we come back, I'm going to let Bino hit the reset button. We're going to get into our conversation about Heupel, and we're going to ask if the House ruling were to hold, what would that look like for him, just as a sort of an adjunct to our conversation, but really get back into the concept that the belief is this House ruling does not have long to live. It can't. Basically, what they've done is they've instituted a cap on these teams, a salary cap on a group of kids that they didn't bring to the table and ask their opinion. Bino, you have a union background. You think that works in? You think that would work in? If when you were out at Oak Ridge, if they'd have just said, "Hey, you know what? We're capping you at what you can make here for this job." I know I know it paid $55 an hour last year, but this year it's going to pay $35 an hour because we've got a cap in place, and we didn't ask the workers about it. How do you think that would go over, Beanstar? How long would that last?
About as long as before one of the administrators had to grab a wrench.
Thank you. The kid from the Faison kid apparently was here recently. What do you think it's going to be like, Bino, when they have to go back to him and say, hey, Brandon, you know that deal we agreed to, man? But it ain't going to be the only one. It's going to happen all over the country. I don't know how to tell you this, but I'm sure you read about that house case. Our hands are tied. You're going to get like a third of that. How do you think that's going to go, Bino? You're going to get a third of that. How do you think that's going to go?
I would think not good.
If that's in fact what they do. And it looks like this is what they're going to try and do. Now, they got a heavy from Major League Baseball who's a Ivy League trained attorney who's supposed to be, you know, he was an enforcement side of Major League Baseball, and, you know, he speaks softly and carries a big stick and this, that, and the other. Good luck to you. But in the meantime, with the House deal as the law of the land, Throat made the point today that Vanderbilt, Missouri have the same amount of money to play with as Tennessee. If you choose to believe that these schools are going to abide by the commission, what out of 100, Bino, what percentage do you believe these schools are going to try and abide by the commission? Out of 100, Bino?
2.
Yeah, I agree with that. Now, I think they're going to tell each other we're abiding, just like they used to in the old days. All those ADs and presidents get together and go and they hang out and whatever country club they're at, whatever 5-star restaurant they're at eating on your dime. No offense to them, down through the years. Not on their dime, on your dime. And then they look at each other, smile at each other, say, hey, we're not doing it anymore. We're not going to give in to these kids, these agents. They're going to immediately go walk out that door and figure out a way to get Faison his $5 million. That's a stone cold reality of this thing. But in the meantime, we've got Josh Heupel's 4 years. Is it 4, Bino? Is this season number 5 now? It is, isn't it?
Yeah, season number 5 coming up. Hard to believe.
Time flies, man.
When you're getting old.
Season number 5 of Josh Heupel. I don't know about you, Bino, but I'm getting smarter. I'm not getting older. And then those little pains I feel here, there, and everywhere don't matter after playing 6 hours of music over the weekend. We take a brief time out and come back with more. It is, ladies and gentlemen. We'll open it up on the TLD Logistics phone lines right after this.
Are you wanting to raise money for mission trips or summer camps for your church? Fundraising just got easier. I'm Billy with Grade A Grounds, and we partner with churches to raise money through custom-labeled coffee. It's fresh, local, and gives back. Start today at our website, gradeagrounds.com.
Life never stops moving. And between the 30-minute commutes, daycare pickups, weekly soccer practice, Tuesday night yoga, X number of coffee runs, and that weekend trip to Grandma's, you're racking up the miles. What you need is a tire that can keep up. A tire designed for doers. A tire that's going to last. Like the exceptionally long-lasting Michelin Defender tire. With an 80,000-mile warranty and the safety and comfort you expect, you can forget all about the miles ahead and focus on getting to your destination or conquering your to-do list. Fleet Tire, I-275 exit 1B at East Woodland Avenue in Knoxville. That's Fleet Tire, I-275 exit 1B at East Woodland Avenue in Knoxville. Fleet Tire.
Jeff Hall here. I'm a partner at Rather & Kittrell Capital Management. And here at Rather & Kittrell, we understand that life is full of transitions. Since 2000, our team of dedicated certified financial planners has been helping individuals, families, and businesses navigate these changes with confidence. From comprehensive wealth management to tailored retirement plans, we're committed to guiding you toward a secure financial future. Ready to take the next step? Visit rkcapital.com or call us at 865-218-8400 to start your journey today. Rather & Kittrell is a registered investment advisor.
Summer officially starts this month, and the last thing you want during sweltering heat is a broken air conditioner or HVAC system. That means it's more important than ever to keep you and your family comfortable and safe before extreme Tennessee temperatures arrive. Don't ignore the warning signs that your AC is struggling or nearing the end of its lifespan. And if you need emergency HVAC repairs, routine preventative maintenance, or want to invest in a new system, then call the trusted HVAC experts at Pipe Wrench Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. This month, get up to a $1,000 discount when you buy and install a new air conditioner or HVAC system. We make it easy with free on-site estimates for replacements and free second opinions on repairs. And if budgets are tight, we offer flexible payment plans including 0% financing with credit approval. Be sure to ask about our 10-plus year warranties that are 2 times longer than industry standards, so you don't spend a cent on unexpected costs in the future. So call Pipe Wrench at 865-264-8090 or book online at pipewrench.com to schedule your appointment today.
Out-of-town law firms have been swarming into East Tennessee lately. From Memphis, Chattanooga, and Birmingham, they've stormed into the area. Wouldn't you rather do business with a local firm? You know, a true neighbor. Marcos Garza and the pros at the Garza Law Firm are just that. There are neighbors and friends that support local causes year-round. The Garza Law Firm works to serve you professionally on criminal matters, injuries and accident matters, and Social Security and disability filings. The Garza Law Firm is here for you at garzalaw.com. The Garza Law Firm. Let us help.
Are you stuck in a dead-end job or ready for a new challenge? Do you feel like it's time to try a new career? Well, it's time to change lanes with TLD Logistics. My friends at TLD Logistics have some really exciting opportunities for you to learn a new skill with a new 5-acre driving academy that's now under new leadership with all new course material. And the best part, it's absolutely free. What a great deal to set you on the road to higher pay. And TLD Logistics even offers weekly stipends to offset food and gas expenses. In 6 weeks' time, you could complete this course and be in compliance with FMCSA regulations. Then you're ready for the open road of opportunity. What are you waiting for? It's time to change lanes with TLD Logistics. Visit tldlogistics.com. That's tldlogistics.com. TLD Logistics.
A lime is not always just a lime. You see, some limes are lucky. For when a lime joins the salted rim of a crisp, refreshing Tres Dos Equis, that lime is no longer a mere lime, but a wedge of renowned Mexican limón. Muchas gracias, limón. And also, de nada. Enjoy Dos Equis responsibly. Copyright 2024 Dos Equis, imported by Cervezas Mexicanas, White Plains, New York.
Hi there, Basilio crew. Jennifer Morris here with Keller Williams Realty. If you're thinking about selling your home, I've got good news for you. The East Tennessee and Knoxville areas are projected to have another strong year. I'll be happy to talk with you about the latest and greatest info you need. So give me a call at 865-694-5904 or contact me at nextmovesmokymountains.com. Hope to hear from you soon and go Vols.
Josh Collins at Collins Insurance Agency. At Collins Insurance, we strive to ensure our customers receive better coverage along with bigger savings. Our community is important to us. We want to provide exceptional service to our customers. Anybody can provide great rates, great coverage, but can you also get great service? And hey, don't just take my word for it.
What's up, everybody? Zakai Ziegler here. My family turns to Collins Insurance Agency for the best service, coverage, and price.
So don't just go online and get some random insurance. Experience the Collins Insurance difference.
Like he said, experience the Collins Insurance difference. CollinsInsuranceTN.com. CollinsInsuranceTN.com. And hey, their Mama Zizi approved. CollinsInsuranceTN.com. Thank you to Josh Collins and Zizi.
One more thing, Tony. Go Vols!
Preparing food for a big gathering can really take it out of you. That's why you need to call Calhoun's and check out their selection of party platters. Whether you're hosting a party for the big game, a reunion, or just an everyday gathering, a Calhoun's party platter is next level. Choose from Calhoun's always excellent chicken tenders, fly with Calhoun's wings, or boneless wings with a variety of dipping sauces, award-winning next-level melt-in-your-mouth barbecue ribs, or delicious spinach artichoke dip, or get one of each. Plus, if you're doing burgers or sandwiches, Calhoun's has lots of side dishes like spinach Maria, baked cinnamon apples, Smoky Mountain baked beans, or creamy coleslaw, available in pints, quarts, and gallons. And to finish things off, pick up one of Calhoun's great desserts to go, including homemade cheesecake or key lime pie. Calhoun's, simply your go-to party headquarters. With 9 locations all over East Tennessee, you can order online and just pick it up. Calhoun's, one of the Copper Cellar family of restaurants, along with Chesapeake's, Copper Cellar, Corner 16, Cherokee Grill, and Smoky Mountain Brewery. Eat local, eat good.
The Lady Vols were stung last week when the Pinnell young lady, as I welcome you back on a day where shout out to Jerry and the gang, Richie, Jerry, everybody over there at Fleet Tire, I-275, exit 1B, East Woodland Avenue, beautiful Knoxville. Shout out for the great job you did. Shout out for the great job you're going to do with me this week. Unbelievable, Andy Mack. Media outlets, including the great Ben McKee, reporting today that, shockingly, Dylan Loy has entered the transfer portal. Pride of Sevier County, Bino. A young man we had on the show here. I'm not sure how surprising or not surprising that is, Beanstar, that he's in the transfer portal because he really didn't. He had a role, but he really didn't have a role in this team this year. What do you think?
Yeah, Tony, he was kind of left-hand specialist, I guess you would say, for this team. He'd been a kind of an opener, put in an opener position in the past. Hate to hear it, regardless of what the reason is. I liked him. He's kind of my guy on that roster, so I hate to see him go. But my guess would be that it's his desire to be a starter rather than just a pitch here and pitch there guy.
I agree with that.
He's probably more suited to be a starter, to truth told, than the role he played here.
I agree with that, and he's good enough to start. So it'll be interesting to see where a young man like that ends up, and what role he will have. Will he end up in the Southeastern Conference? Will he end up in the ACC? I'm sure we'll find out in short order. But congratulations to him. He won a national championship last year. He got to ride the ride as a local kid. It's a great story for him. But the transfer portal giveth, and the transfer portal taketh away as we go to the phones. Before we do, Bino, let's set this thing up. We were talking about Heupel on Friday. We got started on this conversation late. The phones were ringing off the hook. We got off the air. So let's get back to it. Josh Heupel, Bino, glass half empty, glass half full. Where are you, and how do you answer that?
I'm a glass half full guy, Tony. We kind of couched this conversation on an excellent article that Adam Sparks wrote, not yesterday, but the Sunday before. It was published in the News Sentinel, and it was entitled "UT Fans Critical Despite Heupel's Wild Success." And I'm a glass half full guy. Obviously there's some concerns and unknowns going forward. But I'm a guy who believes what he sees, and based off what I've seen and what he's accomplished over the last 4 years here, I have a solid trust in Josh Heupel.
865-200-5402. How do you respond to that? I've got a great deal of appreciation for Josh Heupel. I'm afraid of his tenure going forward. My belief is that you invariably have to have players And I'm not sure we have enough of them. And I'm not sure we're going to have enough of them. I like him. I'm rooting for him. Bino and I talked on Friday, and Bino wrote a piece for over tclub.team, our free blog every day, where today Throaty takes us in an interesting direction. But if you go back to Friday's piece that Bino wrote, I had referenced that, and this is where some people are. They look back on that tumultuous, I guess it's a decade plus. When Fulmer walked out of here in what, 08?
Yes.
Kiffin was 09. Lane Kiffin was the right hire at the wrong time. He would have been a great hire 10 years later. He was not emotionally mature enough to have this job when they gave it to him. He wasn't ready. And he didn't appreciate it. Anybody that would pipe USC stuff into the... And this did happen here. We let this happen, which I cannot believe we let happen. But I guess when you empower people and you don't say no and you don't stand for what's right, anything can happen. But Josh Heupel is the exact opposite of that. He is somebody that respects his place, respects people, respects the opportunity he's been given. He's a hell of a coach. But you also have to really get after it in the recruiting deal to win at spots like this. You just do. Kirby Smart gets up every day. He's a habitual, crazy recruiter. His hair's on fire. And he's won a couple national championships or whatever he's won, and it never ends for him. And I'm just concerned about that. I say that out loud to you. I don't know that our staff has enough recruiting firepower on it. I don't know. The other thing that kind of concerns me about Heupel is, and then we'll go to the phones, is that I look at his evals and I go, it doesn't make any sense. And then the last few years, the adjustments that have been made on his offense, what's interesting to me is Tennessee's seems a lot more solid defensively than they do offensively under him 4 years in. The Marion Hobby hire is a great example of that. That is a terrific hire. To bring somebody in with his resume, collegiate game, pro game, etc., speaks volumes for this program. Offensively, the answer was to go get a guy that was in my wedding who got fired at Oklahoma after like 3 games this past year. I mean, that just doesn't move the needle for me, Beanstar. Am I wrong?
I don't know that you're wrong, Tony. I think that Josh Heupel, like a lot of offensive-minded coaches, feel they don't need the help on that side of the ball, that they can figure that out. And that will be whether he can or not. But even at that, Tony, as we talk,
yeah,
a lot of that is just perception. Because as we talked about, when our offense was lighting it up, and we were all so impressed with it and thought it was unstoppable, the first 2 years, we won 18 football games. The next 2 years, when we're all wringing our hands about how bad our offense is compared to what it was, they won 19 games. So the bottom line is still winning football games, regardless of how you look doing it.
So we go to the phones. 865-200-5402. Glass half empty, glass half full. On a day where we wish Illinois well. Is it raining outside? She's down here hanging out with me. Laura said she's trying to get somebody to let her outside. I was wondering, it's like the dog never comes in here unless it's stormy outside, or we do live near a gun range. Somebody could be firing a gun. But my wife's not letting her outside right now because she's being a bad girl and disturbing the neighborhood, as she will do. But let's, without further ado, some days she gets up and she's just so peaceful as she can be, and some days she gets up and she wants to fight with every bird in the sky, man. One thing about dogs, Bino, they wage war on the birds and they never catch them. It's kind of a funny thing of dogdom. But let's go to the phones. They're interesting creatures nonetheless, and they're fun, and I love dogs. Josh Heupel, glass half empty, glass half full. Jump into our conversation about him as we conversate, as they say in the hood. TLD Logistics Overdrive. Overtime perhaps not needed today. But let's go to our TLD Logistics phone lines. Hello and welcome into our first call. You're on the air and in living color. Hello, welcome in. You're on the air.
All right. So, I've decided to look up the most delusional SEC fan base.
All right.
And NFL team fan base. And we all have different opinions. But according to Google,
yep,
the most delusional SEC team is the Auburn Tigers, and followed up by that are the Texas A&M Aggies, Tennessee Volunteers, and Georgia Bulldogs.
Bino, do you agree with Google? Auburn, Texas A&M, and us. Yes or no, Bino? Delusional fans.
I think, Tony, that those three fan bases, I don't know about delusional, but I think they are all three chip on your shoulder, will fight you to the end fan bases, because they, for the most part, they've always, two of them are little brothers, and we've always been under someone's thumb.
Amen.
Whether it was Alabama, Florida, whoever.
Hey, Will, I love that. I mean, you looking that up because I think it's pretty accurate. I think those are three squeaky wheels in the league. A&M was so gleeful that they got out of the shadow of Texas, got into this league, staged the coup, broke up the Big 12, however you want to look at it. And a few years later, Texas said, "Let me hold my beer in the dark of night," and said, you really got away from our shadow. We're going to now reign over you forevermore." Auburn is Alabama's little brother, little sister, little cousin, short uncle, ne'er-do-well family member. Auburn, every once in a while in the modern era, will rise up and have a great team, but their seasons of recent years feature more hits than misses. You know what's mystifying to me, Bino, is that Ravano Freeze has not done more at Auburn than he's done. He's kind of an afterthought. What's that about?
What year is he going into, Tony? What will this be?
This is 3. Year 3 for him. And I mean, he hadn't moved the bar at all. Let me look that up. It might be year 4 for him. What's your take on Hugh Freeze, Bino? I thought he would have done a lot more there, and right away.
Yeah, I think for one thing, he hasn't had the right quarterback for sure. And another, I am stunned that Pavia kid went in there with New Mexico State or whoever and beat him down there at Auburn. And then he decides to kind of hold what he's got in his hand and let him go to Vandy and beat him there too. That doesn't sound like the car salesman that I remember him being,
heading into
his reputation being.
Heading into his third season, 23, 24, and now 25. And his third team is picked to be pretty mid. William, who were the let's see if we can guess, Bino, who Google says are delusional NFL fan bases. Let's see if we can put our heads together on this one. Delusional NFL fan bases, according to Google. That's kind of fun.
Listen here, I already know who it is.
Well, you already know, but I'm asking Bino. You stay right there, my man. You're going to provide the answers. You've got the special envelope.
The Dallas Cowboys.
Got to be there. How about the L.A. Raider Nation? They've got to be full of delusion. And let's throw out one more nominee, Bino. Who you got? Cowboys are great.
Chicago Bears.
Boom. How close are we?
One of them is dead on.
Hit it. Got to be the
Cowboys.
Cowboys, okay. Second one.
That is the most delusional.
Oh, they're awful. I feel sorry. I almost feel sorry for the Cowboys as an Eagle fan. I said almost because they're just kind of like a rudderless sort of thing. Do they one of these days, Bino, walk out on the field with a great team in the Jerry Jones era, or is that just not going to happen for him?
Not in the Jerry Jones era, no.
Because they've had years where they look really good on paper, and then they get on the field and it just kind of all goes to pot on them. All right, William, who else is up there?
I'm just going to go to my opinion.
Well,
my opinion, the most.
You know the answer. Who in the NFL? Who are the other two delusional fan bases?
Let's see real quick.
No problem, bro. Cowboys were one of them. In college, he said the three of them were in the SEC. It was A&M, Auburn, and us. And I think Bino's right. I think the concept of a delusional fan base is we deserve more, we should have more. I think all three of those schools' fan bases feel that way. So if you want to call that delusional, chip on their shoulder, Beanstar. I like being part of a fan base that has a chip on its shoulder, being on a lot of character, don't you? I found being a Tennessee fan very fun down through the years.
Yeah, I do too, Tony. As a matter of fact, once when you were away, one of the topics I threw out was, if you were not a Tennessee football fan, who would you pull for in this conference? And mine was Auburn, because they're so much like us. I could go there and be an Auburn fan. I think they've got the best fight song in the league. And I could just go right on hating Alabama and Georgia and Florida.
Mine would be LSU because they have really cool colors.
Yep.
And
a good one.
Their fans are totally moronic and insane. Like, their stuff on post-game call-in shows is, well, it's moronic and insane.
That's a good one.
Who are they, William? The other two delusional fan bases. What you got?
For the NFL?
Yes, for the NFL, William.
The other two up there are the Washington Commanders and Tony, you're probably going to be quite offended by this, but the Philadelphia Eagles.
No, their fans are idiotic. They'd be the most illiterate, idiotic fan base in the history of sport. No offense to my Eagle fan brethren, but they just don't behave themselves. No offense. That you talk about a group that has the reputation they deserve, that's Philadelphia Eagle fans. No offense. No offense. So, who would you vote for, William? If you had a vote for delusional fans. Obviously, you thought to look that up. So who were you thinking you'd see?
For the NFL, I thought I would see the Buffalo Bills. 'Cause every year, these people think they're going to go to the Super Bowl. They're probably going to go undefeated. Their fans are very idiotic, from what I hear.
They're very hungry. Extremely hungry. They travel like crazy. I've always thought Bill's Mafia, Bino, I've always thought they're kind of funny. They're sort of amusing to me.
I like their fan base, Tony. And my gosh, if you have to live in Buffalo, I'm for whatever you got to do to get through that.
Amen to that, brother. You know, they are teams so close and so far away. They're Arkansas baseball, Bino. What'd you think of poor Arkansas baseball showing the other night, Beanstar? Letting a not-so-vintage LSU team beat them.
I thought I was gonna be pulling for Arkansas.
Yep.
And as soon as I saw Root out there, I decided no, I'm not pulling for them.
We ain't rooting for Root.
I ain't rooting for Root. Whether he was justified or not, I ain't rooting for Root.
And the rest of those jokers, and they did what they always do when they go to Omaha, which is they got right in the middle of that squared circle, William, and they were looking at the lights, brah, when the night was over. They did the J-O-B, the 1, 2, 3. Do you watch wrestling, William?
Yes.
Who's your favorite wrestler, William?
John Cena, 100% John Cena.
I'm a member of C Nation because you, sir, can't see me, and you have a Dwight Gooden. Great phone call. By which others will be judged. And he is glass half full on Josh Heupel, sticking with today's topic. And we'll go back to our phones, our TLD Logistics phone lines, if you want to get in the hunt and in the mix with us and in the mix and in the hunt. My name's Tony Basilio. That's Bino Jeff Henderson. We're darn proud to be with you today. Pleased as punch, fired up, focused, and prepared. Could it get any better? I don't think so. Back to our phones we go. Hello and welcome in. You're on the air.
Hey, guys, Dave.
Hey, Dave, welcome in.
I just don't think Heupel's not recruiting well enough. I'm sorry. I wish he was better at it. But, you're paying him nearly $10 million to win championships, not to go 8-4, 9-3, or once every 5-6 years to win 10 games. And I know he's got 2 10-win seasons already under his belt, and he coaches his teams up. But you got to – that's not going to be good enough. It's just not. And so if he does not start recruiting better and taking this portal things more serious, he won't be here long term. He just won't be. It won't work out. It's what it is today. And that's my opinion. So I guess I'm glass half empty.
Hey, Bino, Dave is getting right to the point. How do you respond to Dave, Bino?
Obviously, roster construction is going to determine how long he's here. I just think that to say that a guy who's won 10 games in his first 4 years here has a ceiling of 8 or 9 wins going forward, I just don't know how you come to that conclusion.
And Dave, I will say this. This guy has done more with less. You have to say that. I mean, last year they got caught in a spot where, and I wrote this today on the blog over at tclub.team, where they realized their quarterback couldn't play. Now, they were going to bring him into this season and see if maybe magically they sprinkle pixie dust on him and all of a sudden he could play. But they realized last year in the Oklahoma game he wasn't ready. and they completely revamped what they did offensively, and they got that team home with 10 wins. Would you not say, Dave, that that was an excellent coaching job?
Yeah. I compare Heupel to the guy that was at Missouri, Pickle.
Pickle, yeah.
Pinkle. Mm-hmm.
That he's never recruited well enough to win a championship, but had good success on the field, but never was going to get over the hump because didn't have the players. The expectations at Missouri are not like the expectations at the University of Tennessee.
Nor should they be.
60,000 seat. They have a 60,000 seat stadium. We have a 104,000 seat stadium. There's a big difference.
I was talking with somebody today that read the blog that knows these numbers. They said Tennessee's athletic budget right now is about $100 million more, Bino, per year than Missouri's is. Tennessee has about $250 million, something like that, to play with, some crazy number. And Missouri has about $100 million less than that. Whatever Tennessee's is, Missouri has about $100 million less to play with. That's kind of remarkable to be in the same league.
Yeah, I mean, Dave's right, and I hope that never changes. I hope our expectations are always higher than Missouri and teams like that. So,
Dave, you answered.
Yeah, I mean, that's something that Josh Heupel has to deal with going forward, and he has to meet or come close to meeting those expectations.
So let's talk about expectations for a second. I'm going to ask the listener this as well as we talk about Heupel, because I think this needs to be said. Dave, when you say win championships, what are you talking about? Like SEC championships? Are you talking about a national championship? Because to me, the goal right now in that sport is to get into the playoffs. I think you're judged by playoff appearances in that sport.
Well, that's fine, Tony. But if you get there and you're not competitive, once you get there, that'll wear on the fan base. Trust me. It's one thing to get there, but getting there and then winning games in the playoffs and being competitive. We weren't competitive when we got there this past year. That's,
Bino, how do you respond to that? Is it enough, Bino, to get there, or do you have to get there and then make noise? Because I would argue that if you continue to get there, that's a sign to me that you've got a solid program.
Yeah, I would think that every individual has to determine that for themselves, Tony, as far as being a family. I think Dave's probably right in that if you continually get there and you're not competitive, at some point the fan base wants more and more and more. But I do think if you're getting there regularly, that's certainly a sign of a healthy program.
A la the Buffalo Bills. William Dave brought up the Bills. The Bills get there, are competitive in the playoff, yet haven't been able to get home, even though they've played at the top of the sports, basically in the Josh Allen era.
I mean, they're, and they've had Heartbreak City in Super Bowls. Never been able to win a Super Bowl. Been in plenty of them.
Yep.
But the NFL is a little different than the college. I mean, the college sport is getting closer to that now because of the money and NIL. But I'm just saying, he's just got to recruit better, Tony. He's just got to I don't know how to explain it. Okay, I'll get a good example. I think that Coach Vitello and Coach Barnes have done what they need to do to stay at the top of the sport. I don't know if Josh Heupel has done that or is capable of doing that.
Thank you, Dave. So Dave has spoken. 865-200-5402. His glass is half empty on our head football coach. How do you answer it? It's a very interesting, and along the way, we're going to write down some of these points. For instance, I now ask you, what's the goal of modern college football? we used to think of in terms of, when I first got here, we used to think of in terms of the league championship. The league championship was the be-all, end-all. Then it became, when we split into divisions 30-plus years ago, qualifying for the championship game. That doesn't even seem like, Bino, it matters now. Or am I imagining that? Does it matter? Qualifying for your league championship game, Bino, does that matter to you?
I think it still matters, Tony, but not nearly to the degree that it did 10 years ago.
It's weird.
Pre-playoff.
Yeah, it's kind of weird to even say that out loud. But that's where we are.
Still mattered, it still mattered, obviously, until let's say this. I think starting last year when the playoff was expanded, it doesn't matter quite as much other than getting an automatic berth in there. I'll always cherish one if we win it. It's like a SEC tournament championship or SEC regular season championship in basketball. I'm always going to appreciate it, cherish it, but it's not as important in the large scope.
No, the weirdest thing about that, because now what they're going to do with this playoff format going forward is you're going to play your league championship game and you're going right to a playoff. Say you're a team that wins your league championship. You go to if they stay with these championship games, which we don't know what they're going to do yet when we get down the road and they do this thing with the new format. And we do know what they're doing with the seeding, but we don't know how going forward they're going to approach these championship games. But let's just say, hypothetically, this year, since that's what we're in, you go to the league championship game, you win the league championship game, and say you go into the playoff as the number 2 national seed, you get upset in that playoff, your fan base is going to be urinated off at you. And here's the thing about the league championship game. We saw this last year. You play that game, you get your quarterback hurt. See, there hasn't been a lot of talk about that. You play that game, you're not going to get 3 weeks off now once your quarterback gets hurt. No. You got to turn right around, or you get star running back or a wide receiver, has a soft tissue issue. It's going to drag on for. So essentially, what these leagues are doing is everybody's going to be in action in the playoffs, but they're going to play a playoff game at the end of the year. It just doesn't make any sense to me, Bino. I'm just thinking out loud, though. But we'll come back on the other side. When you think of Josh Heupel, glass half empty, glass half full, on a day where Dylan Lloyd decides that he is going to pursue opportunities elsewhere. And we continue into hour number 2 right after this.
WJBE 1040 AM 99.7 FM.
Translator W259AB.
Powell, Knoxville.
Are you searching for a great local coffee? I'm Billy with Grade A Grounds. You can buy our freshly roasted coffee online and support a good cause with every sip. Great coffee, greater causes. Visit our website today, gradeagrounds.com.
It's the hottest post-game show on the planet. Garza Law. 5th quarter fan reaction. Fan reaction. As soon as the final gun sounds, we're live.
Tony Basilio, and we are live once again with Chad Stockton of FC Alliance. And Chad, you're out there on the field, 100 strong here in Knoxville. Talk to me. What's been going on with FC Alliance now that the weather's heating up?
We're out here for the first night of the boys' tryouts. We have over 400 kids that'll be here tonight. So a lot of exciting times right now for us. Our club team started at U9 and we go all the way through U19. We have over 1,000 kids that come from Chattanooga from the Tri-Cities that make all our teams and make this club what it is today. So we're excited about it. We finished the younger kids a couple of weeks ago. We just finished the girls last night, and now we're on to our older boys program as we speak right now.
And we're blowing and going in the Tri-Cities. Tell me about it.
We started FC Alliance North 1 year ago, and coming off the first year, we are the largest, most competitive club up in the Tri-Cities area. We just finished our tryouts last night. Looks like right now we will be well over 400 kids for the upcoming season. So great things happening up there. We've put our boys into some really good regional leagues. So we're excited about what the future holds for them and also our girls programs.
If you want more information, check them out at fcallianceknox.org. That's fcallianceknox.org. Chad Stockton, keep growing the beautiful game here in East Tennessee.
Absolutely. Thanks, Tony.
Hi, I'm Jim Simpson, owner of Simpson Meats. When's the last time you grilled a really good burger or steak? One your friends still talk about. Our goal at Simpson Meats is to make that happen every time you have a cookout. All of our cuts of meats, steaks, burgers, briskets, and pork are always fresh, flavorful, and sustainably sourced. We are family owned, so we know the importance of knowing how and where your food is raised. We have been putting quality first since 1888. Visit our butcher shop off Lovell Road or online at simpsonmeats.com.
Listen up, baseball fans. It's time to step up to the plate and get some new Tennessee gear from Alumni Hall. Don't you dare swing and miss by shopping elsewhere. Alumni Hall has the best selection, top brands for you to choose from. Shop in store, 3 Knoxville locations, or Bristol or Murfreesboro. Anytime, online, anywhere in the world at alumnihall.com. Come grab your Tennessee baseball jerseys. Incredible. Oh, Coach Vitello's jersey, hats, decals, t-shirts, and so much more. Earn $10 in rewards for every $150 spent. Shop Alumni Hall, your ultimate Tennessee shopping destination. Go Vols from Alumni Hall. Tony Basilio along with the great Mark Griffin. And we're here to talk about our friends at Performance Medicine. And Griff, their slogan, stay educated, stay healthy. That's you.
Wow. I really like to think that, Tony, and I'd like to give Dr. Rogers a lot of credit because I definitely want to stay educated and healthy, and knowing that he's putting the time and effort in to make sure of my care, I want to encourage your listeners to put the time to learn and become educated and get to know Dr. Rogers and see if it can help with your health as well.
And there's a really, really easy way to do that. In fact, they've got their own YouTube channel. You can see Dr. Rogers for himself with his staff. It's called The Performance Medicine Show over at the Performance Medicine channel over on YouTube. Also, more information at performancemedicine.net. To our friends in North Knoxville, a brand new location over in Fountain City, now accepting patients. So many ways to reach Dr. Rogers. And like they say, stay educated, stay healthy. Performance Medicine, online, performancemedicine.net. TB here for Cedar Bluff Plumbing, a live and local company that's been serving our area for over 32 years and counting, because every customer counts, and I mean, no job is too small. Cedar Bluff Plumbing just voted #1 by City View magazine because multiple plumbing experts are on call to serve all your plumbing needs. Chances are there'll be a plumber in your area when you call, and they won't send some salesman to your house. You're going to get a high character, trustworthy, highly trained plumber who will serve you. Not like some of these guys that look like they came off the set of America's Most Wanted. Cedar Bluff Plumbing is Basilio tested and approved and will go the extra mile for you because Chucky Mack is a servant of the people and my consigliere to the throne, celebrating over 32 years of serving living volunteers. Cedar Bluff Plumbing. Call 588-4448. That's 588-4448. Cedar Bluff Plumbing.
Attention Vol fans, are you tired of complicated, clunky fleet technology that makes your job harder? Say goodbye to frustration and hello to Connexial, your hometown partner in logistics. It's time to rev up your operations with next level fleet management from Connexial. Connexial is here to keep your business on track with technology that works as hard as you do. Our game-changing ELD gives you more than just hours of service. With AI-powered dash cameras and real-time asset tracking, you'll have eyes on the road, cargo, and your fleet from anywhere, anytime. And the best part, our friendly US-based customer support team is just one phone call away. No more long wait times or frustrating tech talk. Just real people with real solutions. With Connexial, you get a professional team you can trust and easy-to-use products that keep you on the road. What do you say, Tony?
I'm ready. Make the smart move and call Connexial today.
865-888-6920. Learn more at Connexial.com. That's KONEXIAL.com. Drive life with Connexial and go Vols.
Basilio here, and my friends at Carnes Motor Company started with a dream over a quarter century ago. I met Rob and Brian back when I still had hair, and they were working at a huge dealership in West Knoxville. But they told me back then they wanted to sell cars on their terms, and I wanted to do radio on my terms. Their terms, just like my terms, are ultimately your terms. In both cases, you're the winner. A Car Guru's National Award winner with a 5-star rating on all sites, just like our Vols. Everything about buying a car from Carnes Motor Company is no hassle. They specialize in high-quality pre-owned vehicles between the $5,000 to $25,000 range, and if you need to sell a car, they'll either buy your car or they'll help you sell it. Carnes Motor Company also has a top-notch service department. Therefore, every vehicle is rigorously inspected and serviced prior to delivery, so you're guaranteed to get a quality pre-owned vehicle every time. If you need a place for service, they've got you covered. Come be a part of the Carnes Motor Company family and tell them you heard about it from me. Online at carnesmotor.com, Oak Ridge Highway, 1 mile past the Carnes light. Carnes Motor Company.
Yeehaw! Some people say betting online is still the wild, wild west. But with the VIP Play app, you're riding with the best. VIP Play app is hotter than a $2 pistol packed with flair. Live hosts and features finer than a frog hair. Send your old betting problems out of town with a slap. You'll be betting sharp as a tack on the VIP Play app.
Don't be a better, be a better with VIP Play today.
Download VIP Play today or head to VIPPlayApp.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-88-99789. Must be 21 plus and located in Tennessee to bet.
Jeff Hall here. I'm a partner at Rather & Kittrell Capital Management. Life is full of transitions. Planning for retirement, managing investments, or navigating major life changes. Here at Rather & Kittrell, we're here to guide you through every step. Visit rkcapital.com or call 865-218-8400 to start your journey toward financial clarity today. Rather & Kittrell is a registered investment advisor.
It's always magnificent. Mondays on the Basilio Show, presented by our friends at Fleet Tire. I-275 exit 1B at East Woodland Avenue in Knoxville. Fleet Tire, I-275 exit 1B at East Woodland Avenue in Knoxville. And now, back to B.
T to B, back with you. 865-200-5402. It is our Dosey Dose on your radio. Which, by the way, is a very good Girl Scout cookie. I'm a Dosey Dose fan, or Dozy Dough, whatever they're called. Bino, what's your favorite Girl Scout cookie if you have one?
I like Thin Mints, Tony.
I love the mints. I ain't going to lie to you. I like the Thin Mints myself. Let's go back to our phones without further ado. It is your chill show. We're chilling with you. Talking about Josh Heupel, glass half empty, glass half full, and the reasons why. Speaking of which, was doing a little, made a phone call, trying to figure out what's going on with the Loy situation. Here's the story. The story, and this has not come from Tony, by the way, but the story is, according to somebody that sort of knows, is that Loy wants to be a starter. Basically, in the exit meeting, wanted to be guaranteed that he would start, and Tennessee wasn't willing to do that. So they just said, we're not even going to play the game with him. You know what? I applaud both of them. If in fact you put in the work to do that every day and you want to start, and you don't feel like you're going to get an opportunity here, then you take yourself, as this kid has, with class, and you go down the road, and you seek another opportunity. There's nothing wrong with that. In any walk of life, in anything that you're doing, it's like, hey, I'm not getting the opportunity to be fulfilled here that I feel like in a professional sense or on a university level, whatever it is. You're in a relationship with somebody, whatever it is. And I think it's time for me to move on. We're going to talk about it, and I'm going to tell you how I feel, and if you can accommodate me. And if you can't, I think it's interesting that Tennessee's honest with him, Bino, and said, no, that's not going to work for us here. That's not going to happen. What do you think?
Yeah, I think that's good, Tony. I think it's good that Tennessee was as honest as they could be with him. Obviously this is not a Chase Burns-like situation because Dylan Loy's not the level of pitcher that Chase was. And I don't know that once they moved Chase to the bullpen, if he was ever going to give them another opportunity. I don't know if that was a trust factor or because I'm assuming that their intention was to move him right back to being a starter the next season, but that, of course, didn't come about here. So,
yep, I think Tennessee would have let Burns start the very next year. Obviously, he was going to be a starting pitcher. That whole narrative that he had to transfer in order to become a starter is, well, that's all under the bridge anyway. Let's go back to our phones. We're talking about the Heupel situation. TLD Logistics phone lines are burning up. All lines are jammed. Glass half empty, glass half full on Heupel. I'm sort of glass half empty. I do think that he's an excellent college football strategist. He's an excellent offensive coordinator. I don't think there's any doubt that he knows what he's doing. He's extremely competent. I'm not sure I would call Derek Dooley competent. I'm not sure I would call Butch Jones a competent Southeastern Conference head football coach. And Jeremy Pruitt, I mean, that speaks for itself. And again, when we gave Lane Kiffin the opportunity, I think Lane Kiffin would be different now than he was then, but he was not ready 15 years ago for this jelly. Beyonce. I mean, not even close. Was he ready for this jelly? So we go back to our phones. 865-200-5402. Of course, that's not the measure of what you're looking for in a coach. I'm worried about Josh Heupel's future here. Hello and welcome in. You're on the air.
Hey, what's going on, Tone? Who's your ball runner?
Hey, Rye, welcome in.
I think I'll paraphrase what you're getting at and probably what I was getting at, but inartfully stated Friday. Half full, but afraid it ain't going to get fuller. And that's the real question of this exercise.
That's a good point, isn't it, Bino? Is it going to get fuller? That's a good point.
Yeah.
Because the basis of this age-old are you a pessimist or an optimist exercise is that the assumption is the bartender will come and refill your beer or whatever drink this is. But if that question is, no, this is all you're ever getting, that changes the outlook. And that's my concern, and I think that's what everybody is getting at. The question is not, should we be happy today? We should be ecstatic today. The question is, to quote the great Jack Nicholson in a great 90s movie, what if this is as good as it gets?
Well, the thing
the
thing about our fan base is we're a knowledgeable lot.
Yeah.
We've seen the trend lines before. We've seen the worry lines before, and we've ignored them with certain people. We chose to ignore them.
Which you do when you're in love.
But
we all do it.
This time around, and that's why Adam Sparks wrote that article, there is a more than sizable, I won't say faction, because I don't like how that, there's more than a sizable number of Tennessee fans that are sort of in my camp where they're worried about this. And from the outside, you would go, why would you worry, like Bino, why would you worry about a guy that's won 10? It doesn't matter the players he has. Eventually, it's going to matter. Eventually, you're going to run out of players. I mean, that's how this works. You got to have players. This is a player's game. There's a reason why Nick Saban had incredible players, but always tried to recruit over his incredible players.
And to your point, Tone, the real head-scratcher, in a horrible twist of fate, we lost Jermon McCoy. We don't know yet, but realistically, till after the Alabama game, probably. And they go out and recruit a, probably not as good as him, but a very nice kid in the portal from Colorado. And we got no one at wideout. I just don't get it.
Bino, you seem to think that this receiving core is going to be we're going to be back to a couple years ago, don't you?
If Tony, and by their actions in spring, it suggests they're going to do it. If you put Boo Carter on this receiving core, it won't be. I don't think it's going to be Hyatt and Tillman, but I think it's going to be much better than what we've seen the last 2 seasons at that position.
And I could buy that. I'm really fascinated to see how Squirrel White does at Florida State. I'll be tuning into a few Florida State games this season, just to see if Squirrel was banged up and we kind of said he wasn't no good, or if it turns out Squirrel is a very nice young man and a really good player and an easy guy to root for. He's a dad. We just celebrated Father's Day. You know him. I love the guy, but he just didn't seem to be a Southeastern caliber player. I think it'll be interesting to see what he does at Florida State, to Bino's point.
Yeah, and I don't know how much.
I do too, Ryan. And let me say this: I like Squirrel, loved Brew, but right. I do think that Heupel made a mistake last year, and I even applaud them being willing to go out there and play at 75%. But I think we would have been better off with Mike Matthews or someone else playing at 100%.
Yep. And that troubles me a little bit, Bino, that those guys weren't able to step over those 2 injured players. That's a little odd to me.
If there is a concern that continually comes to me with Josh Heupel, it would probably be his level of loyalty. But now those guys that are willing to go out there that can still perform, and the guys that have already given you something, I understand a coach's hesitancy to go away from those guys.
Well, out the door, I guess X or Cinco or one of your recruiting experts will have more on this. You know, there's a rumor there's a 5-star wideout recruit from Texas that is at least listening to Heupel and the Big Orange. If he could land that, boy, wouldn't that change things for our conversation.
Let's go, baby.
Yeah.
Thank you, my man. 865-200-5402. It's about ball players and urgency in ball players. Hello and welcome in on your TLD Logistics phone lines. You're on the air. Welcome in.
Hey, Tony. How you doing today?
Hey, doing great. Good to talk to you.
I'd just like to give a shout-out to rapper Andy. He posted yesterday that he's entered in the Redneck Brawl up in Johnson City. And I think it'd be kind of neat if everybody, the whole Basilio family, would get behind him.
And now, describe to Bino what the Redneck Brawl is, because he thought he saw that recently at a local flea market. So what is the Redneck Brawl?
Redneck Brawl, I'm pretty sure you fight your own weight limit. And so basically he'll fight somebody from up in eastern Kentucky or West Virginia, whoever calls out whenever he'll put a video out. And
might be the greatest thing I've ever heard. Are you kidding or are you being serious right now?
I'm being dead serious. They had it in Knoxville last year, and it's going to be at Freedom Hall August the 16th.
Might be the greatest thing I've ever heard. Andy, I want to hear about your training. Do we need supplements? Can we help you? Can we go fund you? I mean, what are we doing here? Bino, what weight class would you say Andy fights in? Because you and I spent ample time around him at Calhoun's on the River when he rapped with Chaka Khan. He just said.
Yeah, Andy's not a big guy. I would assume it's light or fly, something like that. Is this a MMA-like event? Is that what it is?
It's more like a boxing event. He said he's coming out strictly business, one-off fight. He won't fight again. He's all gas, no brakes. He's coming to make a statement.
Tough guy. So he's like in a tough guy type competition.
Yeah,
this
like
is a real deal.
Okay.
At Freedom Hall, and they're calling it the Redneck Brawl. So it's like, like one of those tough guy things. I'll tell you what about Andy. Andy's got, after being around him, he's got a little competitive edge to him. It would not surprise me Andy's got some nerve to him, Bino. You got to have a lot of nerve to get in a ring with somebody, fight in front of several thousand drunk fans, which is what you get at events like that. You're there to get beat up for their entertainment purposes only, so to speak. And you got to have some guts about you, Bino. I'm betting on Andy. I'm betting on Andy. I'm saying it right now. We need to get Robert Killer Kowalski over at VIP Play to issue some odds on this. When is it again?
It's August the 16th. I thought it'd be kind of neat to have a post-fight interview with Andy on YouTube, maybe something like that.
Great idea. We ought to take a bus trip up there and get a section for rapper Andy. Maybe Florida can drive the bus for us, Bino. You think Florida could go on the bus with us?
Whatever has driven Andy to do this, I do not possess. So respect to him, and I'd go a step further. I think that you guys really should do a post-bout show.
Yes, yeah, I agree with that.
But what if Bino? What if he has his jaw wired shut? Have you thought about have you considered the impact here?
I don't think that would matter.
So, well, I mean, it wouldn't matter. I'd be like, Andy, it's Garza Law. It's Garza Law fourth. What do they call those?
I mean,
fourth round fan reaction. Rapper Andy's with us because they only fight 3 rounds in those deals. So it'd be the 4th round fan reaction. Hey, Andy, tell me about some.
You don't have to have Andy on, Tony. You've done post-game shows forever and never had anybody that participated in it.
I wonder if it'll be televised. Do you think that something like this will be like online somewhere, or is it going to be just, you have to watch it live?
Yeah, it's it's on pay-per-view, or you can get you one.
Really?
Get you one of them cool boxes and or Fire Sticks, and you can watch it off that.
Bino, true or false, you had a scramble box back in the day as I talked through a wired shut jaw.
Allegedly, I had one, Tom.
I did too. I used to hate when they would when they would zap the chips. That would urinate me off. No offense to me, but how about you, Wartburg?
I'd like to get Andy on and see what he's wanting to prove here, because he said he had something to prove. I don't know what that's about, but I just seen him put that out on X, and it'd be interesting to get him on and see what it's all about.
About 3 summers ago, he did a rap off of Florida. I'm gonna tell you something. Andy's got some fight to him, because Andy that day took a man who, in my opinion, is a beat and a word tactician, and took him to the mat. Took him to the mat that day.
Thank y'all. Have a good day.
You're the man. So I'm going to say he says a glass half full on Josh Heupel. 865-200-5402. We're going to go to the phones. On your TLD Logistics phone line. My name's Basilio. It's an incredible pleasure to be with you today. Hello and welcome in. You're on the air.
How my friends compatriots doing today?
W. Lynn, welcome in.
Can rapper Andy still rap with a half-cocked mouth? Maybe give us a new rap song?
Well, we're going to find out, because it'll be, let's see, if that's mid-August, I'm going to give his...
Road trip.
Well, no, I'm going to give his jaw about a month to recover before that Georgia game or that Oklahoma game, Bino. He's got to do Tennessee Tornado again, Bino.
Yeah.
For the Oklahoma game. So I'm going to give Andy, I'm going to give you 1 month, brother. 1 month to get your jaw back in shape. Little Andy's got some long arms on him, Bino. I'm thinking about Andy getting in the ring with somebody. Andy's got some long arms on him, Bino. Did you notice that? It's a gangly looking dude.
Yeah, he does.
I bet you he's got the reach advantage.
Reach.
Yeah, he's got the reach over the guy from West Virginia. What's going on?
It's Tennessee, West Virginia, and Kentucky.
You got it.
Who's involved?
That's what he said.
The Appalachian feuds and firefights and everything else going on again.
Oh. I wonder if they take the champions at the end of the night and put them in a couch in the middle of the ring and light it on fire.
They might give him a bottle of Popcorn Sutton's moonshine, maybe.
The Redneck Brawl.
That sounds like something that'd be worth watching.
Okay, the Redneck Brawl is the most exciting street fighting event on the planet. It features amateur fighters stepping into the ring for the first time, swinging wildly. Fast-paced 3 one-minute rounds using 16-ounce gloves and no headgear, Bino. That sounds like a great way to get hurt, man. No offense.
Yeah,
I wonder if they have a 60 and over division in this thing, Beanstar.
No.
How about you guys? Are you guys down for it?
I'm out. If I can use my stick, maybe we'll have a stick fight.
We've got merchandise available. We've got T-shirts, hoodies, caps. We've got bikinis, Bino. Flags and koozies, sandals and beanies and socks and tumblers and so much more, Bino. I'm going to get you some bikini briefs, Bino. Redneck Brawl bikini briefs in honor of Rapper Andy.
Tony,
oh boy,
with rapping and fighting, Andy and I kind of run in different circles.
Well, I'll tell you this. If the promoters of that thing were smart, and I might get in touch with them, they ought to give Andy a microphone so he could bust himself a rhyme while walking into the ring that night.
He might rap at the guy he's fighting. He
That's
might
what
be
I'm saying.
rapping at him while he's fighting.
Do a diss track on the way into the ring. You're from West Virginia. You got no game. West Virginia. Be kind of lame.
Yeah. Oh God, it's too good to be true. Tony, I'm a half full guy. The man's gone 30-10 in the last 3 years. I mean, there's not many coaches that have a 3-year span like that after taking over a complete disaster. You know, from the year when he got here. Also. Yes, we would have beaten SMU in Neyland Stadium in the playoffs next year, but we would not have played at Georgia. We would have played in the Sugar Bowl, where I think we'd have had 65% of the fans, and I give us a fighting chance in the Sugar Bowl. So that's a little bit different than what you had earlier said.
You'd have given us a what chance against Georgia?
A Rapper Andy fighting chance.
Bino, would you have given us a Rapper Andy fighting chance against Georgia this last season?
In the Sugar Bowl, New Orleans.
I mean, what I've seen so far, Georgia so far is the hill that we can't climb. But I would have given us a better chance playing at a neutral site than I did going down to Athens to play, yes.
Right.
We would have beaten SMU like a freaking drum, though. No doubt about that. That's kind of a sad thing that we're a year late on that.
Also, I'm a little confused about this payroll department we have now. If you promise, let's just make up a name, Major Harris, a guy that's a football player. You promise him $500,000. We can only pay him $200,000 from the official sanctioned payroll department. Can we not give him $300,000 from the NIL Spire Group?
Not unless it's tied. This is what they want you to believe now, okay? Not unless it's tied to actual, true, pure NIL. You cannot do pay for play. You have to show the clearinghouse, or it has to be in keeping with the value that they place on that position. So, in essence, every school is going to pay these kids the same. Essentially, what they're doing is they're putting together an artificial cap so that every starting quarterback in college football makes the same money, unless they have an NIL deal with a third party like an Arch Manning, who gets all these NIL deals with publicly traded companies. That's the one exception. That's why it'll never work. That just sounds so
Yeah,
silly.
I mean, there doesn't need to be a clearinghouse. The market value is the market value for University of Tennessee.
Yep.
What we want to pay.
Yep.
And all they ought to have is a register of what you're doing. No clearinghouse. Who are these people? I mean, what are they going to do? Put a guy on an auction block to see what his market value is? That's going to be some made up number.
It's pretty great, W. Lynn. It is going to be. It's going to be a number pulled out of nowhere. You're exactly right. Pulled out of nowhere.
Yeah, because I'd like to see this committee that's going to say, okay, this quarterback. Well, let's see what his worth is all over the country. You can't. There's no way to determine that. So, but your other question about SEC championships in the regular season, no, they don't mean as much anymore. I cannot tell you how many SEC titles regular season Rick Barnes has won. I don't keep up with that. But like when Bino and Tony, you and I grew up,
big deal.
You knew what championships were in the 60s, 70s, and 80s.
Big deal. I remember when Tennessee basketball won a division championship in basketball, and we celebrated it, Bino. It was a big deal. Now it's an afterthought in today's sports landscape. I don't know how we would respond to an SEC championship here, in that we would have to worry 2 weeks later about playing a playoff game. Because if you win an SEC championship, you're elite, and you're chasing a national championship. And let's say, hypothetically, you win an SEC championship, guys, and then you go out and you get beat in the first round of the playoff because you're all beat up. Do we call that successful, Bino? What do we call that here? Because you would have gotten upset.
Yeah, there's no question that at one time, for most of the time that we've had it, no one would debate whether you wanted to be involved in the SEC championship game or not. Everyone wanted to be involved in the SEC championship game. Now, there would be a debate on to whether it was a wise thing to do to play in that game.
Yeah, whether you want to put in your second string or something if you're 12-0. And I mean, look at LSU in 2007 when we played them in the SEC championship game. They had 5 or 6 injured players, and we almost beat them.
Yep, that's exactly right.
They had all those injured players recovered like 5 weeks later, or however long it was. They killed whoever they played in the national title game.
It's a really good point. It's a really good point. So, W. Lim, back in the old format, that you actually had a chance to breathe and enjoy what you were watching. And now it's all about getting in that 12 and chasing that championship. Now, this might be a sacrilegious thing to say out loud here. If you consistently, 3 out of every 5 years, get to the 12-team playoff here, you're getting the job done whether you win a game or not. I'm sorry. That's negative, cover your ears. The truth is, about our history, if you get to a 12-team playoff 3 out of 5 years here, you are doing very well. Now, some would say, well, Tony, then why are you worried about Heupel? He's done it 2 out of 4 years. I'm not worried about the past 4 years. I'm worried about what's happening in the future. But if you were to tell me that 3 of the next 5 years that we can get to a 12-team playoff, I would say that's getting the job done and then some. And you don't have to even win a playoff game for me. Am I wrong, Beanstar?
No, not through my eyes. You're not wrong. If we make it 3 out of 5 years, that'll be fantastic in my viewpoint.
25 fights in all. Rapper Andy is going to be one of them. He's apparently qualified for the Redneck Brawl. Mountain Mama women fights, Bino. Comedians Andrew Kahn and Big Murph are going to be on hand, providing commentary on the live stream. I mean, where do I sign up for this? Freedom Hall, Bino. one of our own gets into the ring, Bino, and we will all go with him.
When is this event, Tom?
Every man, woman, and child. Bell time, 8 p.m. on Augie 16, 8 weeks away. Putting the fun back in Funzy.
Good luck, Andy.
Yes, Andy.
Go up there and win.
I could just see him training on the mean streets of wherever he lives, letting himself into a meat plant in the middle of the night, not getting let in, but letting himself in and hitting those slabs of beef. Like Rocky, Bino. What an iconic scene that was. Back to our
Love the Rocky series.
Favorite Rocky movie, Bino? Which one was it?
It was either 1 or 3. I like both of them. I like 1 or 3.
Rocky 1, there's just nothing like it, man. Nothing like it. Nothing like Rocky 1. Because the man loses at the end. How many of us can relate to that? James Ingram, you did your best, but your best wasn't good enough. Great Quincy Jones. Incredible. Come back on the other side. Get some more calls in. Rapper Andy, one fly, we all fly, brah. So we continue with more after this.
Guests appear on the TLD Logistics Hotline. Online at tldlogistics.com.
Your Smokies are back home next week, and you asked for it, so you got it. All You Can Eat Wednesdays is back. Pulled pork, hot dogs, Bush's baked beans, popcorn, chips, drinks, a ticket to the game. You get it all. Don't forget Thirsty Thursdays with half-off draft beers, and next weekend, we've got Medieval Night on Friday with Knights, Royals, and fireworks. Smokies Version Night and fireworks on Saturday with the first 2,000 fans receiving a free friendship bracelet. And come meet Flippy on Sunday. Grab your tickets now at smokiesbaseball.com.
Whether it's baseball, football, softball, church groups, or schools, if you're raising money, do it with locally roasted Grade A Grounds coffee. I'm Billy Miller, a Vol alum and Knoxville native. You keep 40% of sales, and we donate 5% back to our East Tennessee community. Get started today by visiting our website at gradeagrounds.com.
Since 2001, High Branch Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling has been the trusted and preferred name for over 70,000 Knoxville locals. Looking for expert plumbing services and HVAC services, including repairs, replacements, or maintenance. Voted best plumber in Knoxville and one of Knoxville's best HVAC companies 7 years in a row. High Branch is a fully licensed mechanical contractor and committed to excellence and craftsmanship, so you can trust our certified experts to go above and beyond to meet your plumbing and HVAC needs, no matter what problem arises. We also make it easy with transparent pricing, free on-site estimates for replacements, and free second opinions on repairs. And if budgets are tight, we offer flexible payment plans including 0% financing when credit approved. Be sure to ask about our 10+ year warranties that are 2 times longer than industry standards, so you don't spend a cent on unexpected costs in the future. So call High Branch at 865-264-8090 or book online at pipebranch.com to schedule your appointment today. And as always, same-day service guaranteed, or the visit is free.
Hi, I'm Jim Simpson, owner of Simpson Meats. When's the last time you grilled a really good burger or steak? One your friends still talk about. Our goal at Simpson Meats is to make that happen every time you have a cookout. All of our cuts of meats, steaks, burgers, briskets, and pork are always fresh, flavorful, and sustainably sourced. We are family owned, so we know the importance of knowing how and where your food is raised. We have been putting quality first since 1888. Visit our butcher shop off Lovell Road or online at simpsonmeats.com.
Life never stops moving, and between the 30-minute commutes, daycare pickups, weekly soccer practice, Tuesday night yoga, X number of coffee runs, and that weekend trip to Grandma's, you're racking up the miles. What you need is a tire that can keep up, a tire designed for doers, a tire that's going to last, like the exceptionally long-lasting Michelin Defender tire. With an 80,000-mile warranty and the safety and comfort you expect, you can forget all about the miles ahead and focus on getting to your destination or conquering your to-do list. Fleet Tire, I-275 exit 1B at East Woodland Avenue in Knoxville. That's Fleet Tire, I-275 exit 1B at East Woodland Avenue in Knoxville. Fleet Tire. Basilio here. for budget transmissions. TGMD, the great Matt Dixon, took his Ford Escape to budget, and like our Gold Bullet back in the day, it was a total mess. And now, Matt's back in the game. He's got a new transmission, axle, wheel bearing, both radiator hoses, engine mounts, coolant hoses. I mean, his Ford Escape was about to escape to the junkyard, but he didn't begrudge it. He took it to budget, and now he's on his way back to Omaha. Budget Transmissions, over 30 years in business, conveniently located in Bearden. All extended service contracts are honored. A gold certified Repair Pal member. 865-584-4391. 865-584-4391. Budget Transmissions. Don't begrudge it. Take it to budget.
Hi there, Basilio crew. Jennifer Morris here with Keller Williams Realty. If you're thinking about selling your home, I've got good news for you. The East Tennessee and Knoxville areas are projected to have another strong year. I'll be happy to talk with you about the latest and greatest info you need. So give me a call at 865-694-5904 or contact me at nextmovesmokymountains.com. Hope to hear from you soon, and go Vols.
Tony B here with the great Zakai Ziegler for
Hey,
Advent
whoa. Tony, I got this. Hey, Tennessee, it's Easy here. Next time you have an electric issue at your home or business, call my friends at Advent Electric. With offices in Knoxville and Nashville, it's Mama's Easy approved.
You heard it from the most electrifying player in the league. Call the service professionals at Advent Electric, 865-588-0631. Online, adventelectric.com. Tell them ZZ sent you. It's always magnificent. Mondays on the Basilio Show, presented by our friends at Fleet Tire. I-275 exit 1B at East Woodland Avenue in Knoxville. Fleet Tire, I-275 exit 1B at East Woodland Avenue in Knoxville. And now, back to B.
I don't know who the caller was that told us about this redneck brawl, but I'm deep diving on it right now, and I think I'm a
Wartburg,
fan.
right?
At Wartburg, yeah. In Knoxville, the Grim Sleeper, Jordan Simon, fought the Tennessee Wild Boy. Some of these women that fight each other, there's a lady called Baked Bean Nicole Starr, and she took on Pookie Hannah Heath. Tater Caitlin Rogers against Sonia Holly Fawcett. The Alpha Dog was on the card. Somebody who billed themselves as Smoky Mountain Redneck, Michael Will, fought King Yeti, Timothy Reed. A guy by the name of Nashville NyQuil.
All right.
Fought by God, Dalton Reed. Let's go to the phones.
Nashville NyQuil. I'll put you right to sleep.
Back to the phones we go. And then there's the rapper Andy. Hello and welcome into our next call. You're on the air.
Hey, Tony. Hey, Bino. It's Nathan in Andersonville.
Hey, what's
Hey,
up?
Nathan.
Nathan, how we doing?
Doing good. How are you guys?
Good, buddy. Doing great.
Hey, I will echo real quick what W. Lynn was saying. I'm not saying we would have beat Georgia in the Sugar Bowl, but remember their quarterback was hurt. You'd have been playing Gunnar Stockton.
Yeah, that's the problem of playing a championship game. That's exactly right. That is the problem, man.
Yeah, so I think it would have at least been a coin flip instead of me giving the edge to Georgia like regular season.
Now, come on. A coin flip.
I don't know. Now, think about it, Tony. You're going to have
Who's your
at least
quarterback?
50% of the
Who's your quarterback? What do you mean a coin flip? How are you scoring?
Who's your running back? Who's your defense?
Who's your quarterback?
Look, I know I'm not a Nico fan. I'm not trying to.
I mean, let's get real. You couldn't move the football. You weren't beating Georgia last year, guys. Don't pretend that. Come on now.
Well,
you had
I don't know.
you
I'm
had
just saying.
you had a 0.5 chance out of 10 to beat them. Now let's get honest here. Come on.
I'm not saying you would have, Tony. I'm just saying you got a better chance than you do with what's his face, Miami now.
Oh,
and you're not playing at Georgia.
Yeah, that's a good point. And that the fact that it would have been and I omitted that or forgot that. Yeah,
I'm just saying you would have had more of a puncher's chance than you did in a regular season.
Sure, but we'd have had the chances Rapper Andy's opponent's going to have.
Well, yeah. I mean, Rapper Andy's going to take care of business.
Yeah.
But anyway, I was on Heupel.
Yep.
I'm wondering. Of course, I'm only 25 years old, but I'm a degenerate, and I research Tennessee football and baseball and basketball happenings that happened 30 years before I was born. But I think of him right now as kind of like Bill Battle is my concern. You know, he came in, he won 11 games his first year, then won 10 games for the next 2 years. But that was all with, I believe it was Doug Dickey's talent, right?
Bino, fair concern or no? What do you think? Because that is an interesting way of putting it.
It's certainly fair what he said about Bill Battle's tenure here. Yes. The further he got away from Dickey's players, the program slipped. Yes.
And Heupel has had this weird, in his era, problem with evals on offense. It's very strange.
Yeah, and of course, I'm for the guy.
I love him.
I love him. I want him to succeed. I love his professionalism, and he's not some joke of a head coach like we've had for the previous 10 years before he got here.
No doubt.
So that I appreciate about him. I do wish he was a little bit more like Tony or Rick in that he was more aggressive in the transfer portal and didn't have as much coach talk. That's one thing I love about Tony and Rick to a degree, that they don't have as much of that coach speak in interviews and in post-game press conferences and stuff, But that's football coaches for you.
No doubt about it. Absolutely no doubt about it. And the truth about all this is that I'm not going to be a low bar setter, but in all fairness to Bino, who I accuse of looking at the rearview mirror, it's hard not to look at the rearview mirror when you've been through what we've been through. In all fairness to people like Bino, it's just hard to do that. Because what the Binos of the world are saying to the negatives of the world is, you could do a whole hell of a lot worse. And that is definitely true. That is certainly true.
And it's hard for
me
to
and not only has
complain.
he far surpassed what those guys have done, he's had a historically good stretch through here.
Yes.
I mean, we don't have a whole lot of 10-win seasons in our resume.
Yep.
And I know it's easier to win 10 games today than it has been historically because we play one more game, but still, 10-win seasons hadn't come around for much for any of our coaches.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, and that's the thing with me being the age that I am. For the first time that I can remember in my life, we have a successful football program.
Yep.
And so it's hard for me to complain about some guy's success here that's as good as I can remember it. I mean, it was when I was 6 or 7 years old the last time we had back-to-back, 9 and 10-win seasons.
It's really well put.
Happen around here.
Hey, Nathan, it's really well put. And it's always good hearing from you. And I can get your prize
Thanks,
in the mail,
Nathan.
man. Thank you, brother.
I'll see you guys.
Great talking to you. You are a joy to visit with, unlike some of these people. So we'll do a TLD Logistics Overdrive overtime. My friends at VIP Play want to remind you, you can go claim your VIP Play welcome bonus. Make your first bet of $5 or more. You sign up, the promo code's TN Tony. Look, you jump in here, we're midweek of the month, midpoint of the month. Somebody at the end of June is going to win big in the sweepstakes. And this contest is going to end on June 30th, and you're going to want to be a part of this. The VIP Players Club sweepstake, every bet you make on VIP Play gets you entries into the VIP Players Club sweepstakes. Earn one entry per bet, one entry for every dollar you bet, 10 times the entries on parlays or same-game parlays. Tonight you've got an NBA game. You've got College World Series action this afternoon, tonight. It's been a really great tournament so far. The NHL and the NBA are kind of winding down, but you've got tons of things to bet on over at VIP Play, including CFL action, golf action, another major coming up in tennis, 200 leagues from around the world. And remember, the sweepstakes, and profit boost as well. 25% on Major League Parlay profit boost, 3 picks or more. NBA playoff, no danger wager, 50% of your stake back if your bet loses. 20% NCAA baseball tournament profit boost, 3 picks or more. And remember, 200 leagues. It's crazy how much stuff's available to have fun with over at VIP Plane. If you have a gambling problem, 800-889-9789, 21 and over in the state of Tennessee to place a bet. Let's go back to the phones. And we're no doubt heading for a TLD Logistics Overdrive overtime, which we'll do till the final call is taken. And then we'll do our thing and go about our life's work, as the great Chuck Noll used to tell Steeler players as they were getting cut. Hello and welcome into our next call. You're on the air.
Hey, Tony. Hey, Bino. It's Holly.
Hey, Holly. Welcome in.
How are y'all today?
Doing great. Thank you.
We're good, Holly. Thank you.
Well, I've been reading and studying this weekend the so-called clearinghouse stuff, and I've got so many questions. And I thought I'd just ask you all what you thought. Maybe you can clear this up for me. Okay, so we know that the clearinghouse is for deals that are greater than $600. Okay, well, we know $600 isn't much. So, somebody could go way above that if they had if they were a superstar and they were selling T-shirts that had their number on it. So we know that the clearinghouse is going to be inundated with all sorts of applications for that. So I was wondering about, okay, so you've got local businesses. Now, I'm assuming these people are big Tennessee fans. So like a Weigel's, a locals business, maybe a regional business would be a Buddy's Barbecue.
Yep.
And then, and I know those two are big UT fans, but let's say there's somebody in the United States. Let's say Pizza Hut's owned by a Tennessee fan, and he wants to jump in and all. There might even be somebody that's international. So on the application, I guess they have to say what that person's going to do. I want to pay. Let's say Pizza Hut. Let's use that. I want let's just use somebody that is not eligible.
I'll tell you what. Hang right there, because I want Holly to do her exercise, and we'll talk about it, because the answers are really absurd. But it's kind of one of the things I love about this. It's the law of the land now we have to live by. To the radio listener, I love you. The law of the land as the clock's undefeated. And our time has expired on the radio today. I appreciate you. Check us out at tclub.team. We love you. God bless. And enjoy the rest of your day.
WJBE 1040 AM, 99.7 FM. Translator W259AB. Powell, Knoxville.
To the rest of us, we stick around and we break it down scientifically. It's TLD Logistics Overdrive Overtime, presented by our friends at TLD Logistics.
It's TLD Logistics Overdrive.
Yeah, like she said.
Overtime, presented by TLD Logistics. Online at tldlogistics.com.
All right, Holly, so continue with your exercise. We have an opportunity with Pizza Hut.
Okay, let's say the U.S. brand Pizza Hut. And
yes.
It's somebody that, and let's just say, we'll use a name that's not available anymore. Let's say Hunter Inslee.
Okay.
He's a great player, and he says, I want to give him an NIL deal. I want him to be I want him to be the face of Pizza Hut in the sports arenas, and I want him to do appearances, and he's going to be on billboards and blah, blah, blah. And we're going to have a pizza that's going to be a Hunter pizza, all that. So they list all that stuff as he's going to be a spokesman. Okay, so I guess on the application, then they say, okay, this is the dollar amount that we want to give him for doing all of these things. So let's say they say we want to pay him $50,000, and I don't even know if that's close to being right, but let's say $50,000 to do all these things. And then they submit it to the clearinghouse. My question is, how long does the clearinghouse have time to turn it around?
Right.
How do they evaluate what a representative for Pizza Hut on a billboard is versus on a billboard for Buddy's Barbecue. And so who gets to decide if that's worth $5 or $50,000 or $5 million?
Well, the people at Deloitte are the arbiters here. I don't know how one goes about assessing, because no two markets are the same. For instance, if I'm in Chicago, Illinois, and I'm at Northwestern, and I'm paying somebody major market fees, that's a totally different scale in that market for a representative, a corporate pitchman. Los Angeles, California. The bigger market you're in, the more money I can justify paying you for that type of arrangement. I looked up at Pizza Hut, just staying with your example here. Pizza Hut is not publicly traded, which means that that's a national brand that would have to go through the clearinghouse to justify paying an athlete, no matter what they're paying them. The way the workaround is going to be that if I can get you a deal with somebody that is traded, a publicly traded company, you are exempt from the clearinghouse. So, if I have a 5-star athlete, and I get that 5-star athlete a deal with, well, Tennessee's going through something right now. We wrote about it on the on the website, and we don't know what the. I'm going to do a follow-up on Hoops this week. But this kid that Tennessee signed, this Nate Ament, has a shoe contract with somebody. I forget who it's with, but it's not who Tennessee's shoe company is currently with. It's not Adidas or Nike. It's somebody else. Tennessee, he's going to make as much money from that deal this year, believe it or not, as he's going to be from the from the money that Tennessee's already paying him, which is an absurd amount of money. This kid's going to make $8 or $9 million this year playing basketball at the University of Tennessee. It's hard for us to comprehend that. Go ahead.
Tony, then if the publicly traded companies are exempt,
right?
Why wouldn't, to do as you call it, a workaround? Why wouldn't these universities and these kids that are, trying to up the amount of money they make, why wouldn't they all work towards going after publicly traded companies and for their big players? And then the next level down would be the private companies, the Buddy's Barbecue, the Weigels, all those kind of things. And so why wouldn't...
Shout out Calhoun's.
Like a Calhoun's and all the guys that, that are so good in Knoxville that advertise.
Here's the problem. Calhoun's of the world are going to have to run this stuff through Deloitte now. The publicly traded companies have to justify their expenditures. They're not going to spend it just because they're fans. See, they have to go through a board in many cases and say, because they would say, why are you spending this money on? Well, because I'm a big fan. That's not going to hold with stockholders. I think that's why they let them have their workaround. Here's the real workaround that I hear they're talking about. Can I take an NIL and take it public? Can I turn an NIL into a publicly traded company? Because if I can, then I just beat the system. And that's what's being discussed behind the scenes at all these places.
And I know that in everything in money, it's about beating the system.
Yes.
It's the same thing as, okay, I want to pay the least amount of taxes, so here's the system. I can do this and that, and I have to pay less tax. So then my next question is, okay, so somebody buys, again, let's just use Pizza Hut to make it easy. So they buy it and they say, I want to do this mega deal with Hunter Inslee, and whoever fills out the form. And Hunter Inslee hasn't committed yet. He's got 3 big schools looking at him. Let's say he's got LSU and Tennessee and Arkansas. And they're also pitching him deals. They're saying, well, what about Buc-ee's? I'm from Texas.
Give me a total headache.
Texas, and
That's
Buc-ee's
right.
will give you a deal.
Yeah, you're
and all
right.
that. So when this is submitted, when does the athlete make a decision? How long does he get the deal pitched? Does it have to be a done deal already approved by the clearinghouse for him to commit to Tennessee? Or is he just going to sit out there and see, okay, what's the best deal that I got from LSU and this that is confirmed? Or do they just take a chance and say, well, I got this deal in the making with Tennessee with Pizza Hut, and I really want to play for Tennessee, so I'm going to go with that. How does all that work? And is there a time frame where the Deloitte people have 30 days or 3 months or whatever that they can go through all their algorithms and say, yes, that's legitimate, and move ahead?
Well, Holly, what you're bringing up, some people think is mind-numbing. I love that you're bringing it up in graphic detail because this is the world these coaches are now living in.
Well, it's going to screw up everything
it's
because you
so
know
idiotic.
as well as I do
So dumb.
that they're going to say, speed is everything now. We know that.
It's so dumb. And here's the thing.
And so now we've got this thing. Deloitte and Touche,
Screw
they're
them.
basically among they're a consulting company, but they're
Screw them.
accounting and all that. They are not known for speed. And so here we're going to be, and it looks like to me there's going to be a big log jam.
Of course there is.
And nobody's going to know what's what. And then they're like losing, is the kid going to lose faith in the school? Is the school's going to lose faith in these potentials? I mean, except for somebody that's really big name and has really smart parents that have already gone through this, like the Manning kid at Texas, he's got everything at his disposal to have made that wonderful deal he got. Well, most of these kids are Joe averages. They don't know how to navigate the system, and the system doesn't really say how to navigate it, and anything's finite. It seems like the biggest hot mess I've ever seen.
It's dumb. Bino, can you imagine doing all that work for a kid and then they jump into the portal on you in December after one football season? Because that's that's the deal. Like, as she says what she says, they want us to believe this is how this is going to work because she read the fine print. Good on her. You tell me, Bino, if any of that sounds plausible. Or you talk about cheering for a lawsuit. I am 1,000% cheering for a lawsuit. This is the dumbest thing in the world, man.
Well, the document that is, I'm sure they have submitted it to all the schools and everything, but just for some weirdo like me, it took forever for me to find the document, the ruling, and how the rules were set up. And I'm still going through it. And but I love operations and all, and I'm sitting here going, operationally, this can't work.
Can't work.
It's going to bog down the system.
Yep.
And I wonder, my last question to you guys, and then I'll shut up, is, do they already know that, and they're just trying, the NCAA is just trying to get to an ultimate goal that they really haven't even pitched yet?
No, Holly, they want this to work. They think this is a solution.
Well, they're dumb.
Yeah, it makes no sense because there's zero chance
You mark
this
my
works.
words, next year we'll be talking about kids we lost because of the roadblocks and the lag time, et cetera, that we had going through the clearinghouse.
How overwhelmed is the clearinghouse already? Holly asked a really great question. Thank you. I think, and great talking to you, I think we're going to hear absolute nightmares. Bino, do you remember the kid whose name was Williams that got hung up in the clearinghouse for like 2 football seasons? I cannot remember. It was like a kid from New Orleans several years ago. But we're going to get back to that, this whole clearinghouse thing. Guys hung up in a clearinghouse. Do you remember that, Bino? Defensive player?
I remember how inefficient the clearinghouse was. And that was when there were just a few people in there.
Yes. As a friend of mine told me that's in the profession, he said, now imagine this. How many football players are there in Division I? I said, well, there's 129 teams, few more now, so maybe 131, with 105 scholarship players on every team now. No more walk-ons. So that's just right there. That's how many, Brian Hartman? That's thousands. Let's just take the top 30 teams. 'Cause that's really what they're worried about. Top 30 to 35 teams that can, compete in that space. That's 105 players over 30. That's 3,000 kids right there. Now, let's take college basketball. Let's take 64 teams or 68 teams make the NCAA tournament field. Bino, how many teams do you think are paying kids out of the 68? What do you think that number goes to? What do you think the number is? It's got to be more than 68. 68 make the field. What do you think the number is of teams that actually, trying to recruit and pay kids and are going to get involved in this stuff?
Half of D1 basketball?
Yeah, I'd say that's right. Maybe 150. So that's 150 kids, 15 scholarship players. That's another couple 3,000 to worry about, roughly. Couple thousand. Then you got women's basketball. We know they're paying because they have a bigger budget than Tony Vitello. So that's another, a couple thousand trying, probably. How in the hell are you going to track all that? Who's going to track all that? And then once you get caught up, you got a transfer portal. In order for me to get you out of the transfer portal now under this system, I've got to put together deals for you. Who in the hell is going to do all that? And could you pay me enough to be with an NIL collective right now? Could you pay me enough to be with a university right now? Could you pay me enough to coach when Holly brings that up? Because that's rubber meeting the road, what she's talking about. Or, if I'm one of those coaches, would I just take that money and funnel it to a family and say, shh, don't ask, don't tell. Shh, file this on your income taxes. Go live in a bigger house like we used to all do. And we're all going to live happily ever after. You think I'm going to be a straitjacket and run everything through that damn clearinghouse, which is a faculent, fraudulent creation to begin with? Or when it's time to watch a pay-per-view, am I going to get my cheater box out and hope they don't zap me? I mean, let's get real here. Think about what she just brought into and how many athletes, Bino, are at play here. Just think about how stupid that is.
Tony, and absolutely the worst talk show host stance in history. I refuse to think about it.
Back to the phones we go. I don't blame you. I don't blame anybody for saying when Holly's talking about that, I'm closing my ears. But here's the truth. This is what they want you to believe is going to go on now. Question is, do you believe that? Because I don't. Here's why I don't. These are highly competitive people. If you think that Tony Vitello's limited budget is going to keep Tony Vitello from doing business as usual, you're out of your damn mind. Newsflash, you are out of your damn mind. There's no chance that happens. No chance. Sucker. Back to the phones we go. Hello and welcome in. You're on the air.
Ball game over. Series over. The Yankees get swept by the Red Sox.
Who are tearing it down, no less.
Yeah.
Bino, you've lost 5 or 6 to them, haven't you, here in the last couple of weeks?
Yeah, sure have lost 5 in a row. The Yankees won the first game in New York and then lost 5 in a row to the Red Sox. They've struggled really with the entire AL East. I think there's something like 8-12 so far against the AL East, and they're killing everyone else. But I tell you this, I ain't taking a lot of flack from any Braves fans. Y'all need to shut the hell up.
Yeah, but
hey, how about you having the ugliest starting pitcher I've ever seen? That Holmes guy,
15 strikeouts.
With 15 strikeouts yesterday, Bino. That guy looks like he belongs fighting in that tough man contest. Do you see how ugly that dude is?
I didn't see any of the Braves' effort yesterday.
Holmes needs a haircut and a shave, Joshy boy.
I don't know.
Interesting.
So the Red Sox sweep the Yankees, then the reality comes back down. Like an hour, 2 or 3 hours after the game, Rafael Devers gets traded to the Giants. What do you guys think?
Well, I love that they held it. Because they're saying inside that I saw some speculation. They had that deal done like Saturday night.
Yeah.
And now the Red Sox are on the road for a while. They're hoping their fan base will cool off. Did he play well, Bino, in that series against you guys?
No, but he did hit a home run
yesterday.
Wow.
Yeah.
So surely he didn't
know about it. The Yankees probably handled him better in that series than they have most, but he hit the home run that put him up 2-0 yesterday. Yeah.
Yeah. So what do you guys think so far about the College World Series? Tony, Bino, who you guys for? I'm for Coastal, but I think it's going to be Coastal and LSU, but I don't know if Coastal has enough talent to give LSU a good series, though.
I'm for anybody not named LSU because they annoy me, because they think it's their birthright. It's obnoxious.
Yeah.
And screw them and screw John Adams and all those clowns. And the obviously the Coastal kids are a great story. I want to see Murray State oust Arkansas today, guys.
I do too.
That game's getting underway here shortly if it's not already underway.
2 o'clock.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'm for Coastal, Joshy. I do think that they can give LSU if you march down there to Auburn and beat Auburn 2 straight in their place, I think you can play with most teams that are in the SEC. Again, they may have a lack of power from what we're accustomed to win a national championship.
Right.
But that's a ballpark that you can play and win in if you don't have a lot of pop. So
yeah, Coastal, they're a small ball team.
Yeah, more so than what we're accustomed to. Yes. The question is, in baseball, can you just continue to win baseball games? What have they won, 24 in a row, something like that?
26.
I don't care who you're playing. That's unbelievable.
25 or 26, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And I like that coach for Coastal. He seems like a player's coach and cares about those players. He seems like a really great guy.
Well, here's what's crazy. Liam Doyle will be still playing there.
Yeah.
And they already are loaded with pitchers. Loaded.
Yeah.
That starter last night, he got off to a shaky start.
Yep.
He retired 15 straight in the middle innings, and he shoved last night. Shoved.
Yeah. Hey, Tony, what's your and Bino's thoughts on that catcher that we got from Bowling Green, MAC Defensive Player of the Year?
4 words. Well, I'll just keep it. It's about time.
Yeah. It is about time.
Yeah, I don't think we had any greater need or we've had any more of a glaring hole, if we've had any holes, to have a dual threat catcher.
Yeah, a catcher that can catch.
Both a defensive catcher that can hit.
Yeah, a catcher that can catch is a welcome sight. That's I know it's a difficult position, but geez Louise, did we make it look difficult this year?
And he played 22 games in the outfield, which I'm sure helped him with his Defensive Player of the Year award. But he's obviously a good defensive catcher.
Yep,
and athletic.
Yep. Switching over to football, I know the last few years we've been very critical about the offensive line, like saying they didn't play good and
this and that, but I think LRB's offensive line the past few years has been pretty solid because, like, they haven't given up many sacks in the last few seasons, and they've been pretty solid. What do you guys think?
I think the performance is, and I understand the concerns because we haven't had someone that we recruited out of high school that we've developed to the point to where they've basically been a mainstay on the offensive line. This year we'll probably have to do that. But yeah, I think his lines have performed better than his reputation is.
What do you think?
Regardless of how they've been constructed.
Well, they've had the money whip kids to get guys and overpay. And you look, if you're in a system now where you're really in a quote-unquote cap, you cannot continue to do that or your football team's going to greatly suffer because, this guy needs to start developing players. I mean, that's just, his own players because that's the cheapest thing.
Oh, God, sorry.
Go ahead.
Is the Shatter White kid going to play center this season?
We'll see.
Yeah. So, out the door, Tony, I think I've seen it on a podcast the other day or YouTube, I don't know where, but someone was talking to Tim Donahue about asking him, do you think the NBA is fixed?
Oh, Tim Donahue. Uh-huh.
Yeah, he was talking about when I used to ref, they used to give us, like, a lot of plays and stuff going over and, like, calling fouls and stuff, and he eventually got to the answer. He said he does think the NBA is fixed, coming from a guy that used to gamble on this stuff and this and that.
Well, he used to gamble and call games. I mean, he's an official, and thank you, Josh. Bino, do you think the NBA has a twinge of sports entertainment to it?
I don't watch it close enough, Tony, to be an expert on it. No, I don't think that. And I think the last guy's word that I would take on most anything is that Donaghy.
I would agree with that. I will say this, though. Their assignments are odd. There are certain guys who, when franchises see that guy on the floor as an official, they don't win. This Scott Foster guy is like a universally hated guy. A lot of these NBA officials, Bino, have like main characteritis. I don't know if that's just a basketball official thing to begin with, but main characteritis in that deal where they just think they're the star of the show. Back to the phones we go. I do think it's a great thing what college hoops is doing, Bino. Adopting the NBA's challenge system and going to the quarter system. You've been saying for years on here that the women's game, who's been close to 10 years now, got it right with the quarter system because it's not a foul shooting contest.
Yeah, I like that much better, and I believe that most fans will like that much better too.
And then the challenge system is you get one. And if you're wrong, you keep it. I mean, if you're right, you keep it. And if you're wrong, goodbye. And in the last 2 minutes of the game, these officials are no longer compelled to go look at everything. In fact, they're not allowed. It's going to make the game so much better. So what happens, Tony, if we miss a call and you lose a game? You know what? I'm sorry. It's not fair. Guess what? One of the things you teach your kids, it's not fair. Things going to happen that aren't fair. Some days the sun's really going to shine on you, and you don't deserve for it to shine on you. And some days you really deserve for the sun to shine on you, and it rains all over you. This whole concept of we've got to get everything right, replay, and I warned y'all of this, not saying I told you so. Sports would be better if you took replay out of them, Bino, and you just played the game. This worshiping technology stuff is a bunch of bullshit that we've all bought, and it's wrong. It's not right. It's just not. It's totally screwed up college football. Not to mention how slow college baseball games are because of it. But the one thing they ought to really look at in college baseball, balls and strikes, they won't. For some reason. Which doesn't make any sense to me, Bino. Because they look at everything else.
Yeah, no, I think you were right, Tony. These years later, I think you were right. I don't think that replays improved the game at all.
I despise it. And now you have replay officials on broadcast teams. Why? Because that's all we're doing. We're watching the game to watch a call to me. It's like you make the call back in the day. And I guess that's interesting to somebody. It's not to me. Hello and welcome into our next call. You're on the air.
Hello, Tony. This is Lukey Dome.
Hey, Lukey, welcome in. Always good to see you at the park, my friend.
Yeah, I'll tell you. I got a quick one for Bino right quick. Hey, Bino, every time a batter strikes out, and he walks back to the dugout and he looks back at the pitcher like it was the pitcher's fault when it was his fault. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I'm not a big demonstrative guy, Luke, in an era, especially in college and moving that way in Major League Baseball where everybody's demonstrative. And no, I'm not a big fan either way. I'm not a big fan of the hitter or pitcher reactions.
You know, Bino, every once in a while, like the Phillies were playing Blue Jays yesterday, and the Blue Jays center fielder made an incredible catch against the wall. And Castellano basically nodded at the guy and tipped his helmet at him, like, because the guy looked like he was hurt for a second. He lingered on the field to kind of watch him. I like seeing stuff like that. I also like seeing every once in a while you'll see a pitcher will get a batter, and the batter will kind of look out there at him and go, that's a hell of a pitch right there. Just kind of walk away.
Yeah.
Like, that's just not
Yeah.
fair. I do like stuff
we need
like that.
more of that and less of the other.
Yeah, when they acknowledge each other, you know, I like stuff like that, but you don't see that much, to Luke's point.
No.
Hey, Tony, the golf tournament, wasn't that a great golf tournament yesterday? I really agree with what you said about it. It's good for the average golfer that an average well, above average golfer could come and win that tournament like that. And he's the only one that didn't throw his club down. You know, all of them are throwing their clubs down. They're so mad. But JJ did. He just kept trying. He said, "I want to hit good shots. Is all I want to do," and he won the tournament.
Man, you got to be really, 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 really mentally tough to do what that kid did. And I think probably his past and having to come up. He said that you know, they have these for youth tournaments. They have these things they call the AJGA, which is kind of the money circuit out there. And he said, look, I didn't play any of that. He said, I'm from Southern California. He's a big Dodger fan. He went to San Diego State. He said, when I was 17 years old, I got in an open and I won a few qualifying rounds, and I got there with all these like glamorous would-be college players, and I realized at that time, this is what he said yesterday, he said, I realized I have the ability to do this. He said it wasn't until, he said, because I did not play in those events with all these kids I read about online and all these nationally ranked kids. And then he's the first guy, Spawn is, he's the fifth player in 100 years to win the U.S. Open. Never made the cut in any of the other ones. This is a guy that kind of was scuffling around. Never finished top 20 in a major. And had 6 bogeys in the final round. 5 in his first 6 holes. I think he was +6 at one point in that event. And he ends up -1 on a day where everybody else went over. And
yeah, he hung in there.
I'll say this,
Yes,
man. I like seeing those guys struggle, Bino. I think it's fun watching the best of the best shoot over par. I think and watch those guys struggle around out there.
Yeah, my buddies that follow it really closely, one of them on Friday said, Spawn's going to be in this thing because he's a flatliner. He's just not fazed by hitting a bad shot. And you saw a level of frustration throughout that tournament with some guys I've never seen shown any frustration.
Yep. McElroy was throwing his clubs all over the place.
Hey, Tony, I agree with your diagnosis on the football team. They need to get better offensive ends. And, of course, the line, they need definitely better linemen. And the reason what they could do with the offensive ends, they could go to all these track teams, colleges that have good track teams, and see if any of those guys would like to play a little football. That's what I do. Most of the people on the track team are pretty fast.
Yeah, ordinarily, back in the
fast.
day, Tennessee and a lot of these programs had wide receivers that came off the track team. That seems to be a bygone era, Beanstar.
Yeah, and even in that era, it was hard to find one that could catch the football. That's probably why they're running track.
Yep. I guess Sam Grady would have been one. Who were some other? There was a couple recently who were like track-ish type athletes that played here.
We got one from Alabama.
What was the guy's name? Trackish type guys. But yeah, if you're running Division I track, and I believe Tennessee just let a bunch of assistants go in track, or somebody sent me an email along that. I got to chase that down. But Tennessee's track team, the guy Danny White hired, does not exactly move the bar. But I don't know. I don't know what to say about needing some track guys. I would have thought Tennessee's offense would be so fun to play in. After that second year, I would have thought, oh, my God, it's going to be plug and play. They're going to find all kinds of wide receivers that want to play in this deal. Apparently, it's not a great offense. Josh Heupel's offense is not a great offense for developing guys for the NFL. Apparently, that's the rub. I don't know whether that's true or not. It's what's being said. And a lot of times, if it's what's being said, it's accurate because perception is reality when it comes to a lot of this stuff. They need a guy to come through their program to be a frontline NFL wide receiver so they can stop the chatter. That's what they need.
Yeah, it would have really helped if Hyatt had gone up there and performed.
Yep.
And I'm not sure if that has anything to do with probably has nothing to do with Heupel's offense. There have been a bunch of people come from offenses that were more highly thought of than his, where receivers failed in the NFL. But, until you prove that perception is incorrect, then it's correct.
Yeah, and then you have the thing with the route tree and the fact that Pete Carroll told that kid that just went off our team this year that, hey, we had to go back and look at your Oregon film in drafting you because we couldn't see anything off the Tennessee film that translates to our sport here. Look, it's not Josh Heupel's job to develop guys for the NFL. It's not. But then again, if you don't, you're not going to get them. So it's sort of a catch-22, Bino. I don't know what the answer is. I don't pretend to know what the answer is.
Recruit. Hey, one more thing, Tony. I'm a 4-year guy, but I hope I really.
You hope what? What'd you say there, Luke? I'm sorry. Thank you. Yeah. Thank you, Luke. We were having a little issue there with Lukey Dome. Bino, incredible job today by you, my friend. Utterly amazing.
Tony, it's been a really fun exercise, interesting exercise that we've done over Friday and today. And I like I told you, I've been a little bit overly defensive of Heupel just because of how much I like him. But I do trust him based on what he's done. And I hope that the next few seasons show that my trust wasn't misplaced. And the thing this exercise has shown is I think most everyone else hopes I'm right too. So it's been fun.
Bino, we all want the same thing, man.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Look, truthfully, if the guy was like a horse's ass and behaved like Butch Jones behind the scenes toward people, you could root against a guy like that. You could. This Heupel guy you can't cheer against. He's a good dude, man. Now he's, from a media perspective, he's never going to say anything in an interview that's worth airing, because he's just not. It's just kind of who he is. But he's been pretty damn good, and you could do a lot worse. I mean, that's why, like, when I make the points I make about being concerned about, going forward, I don't do it in an inflammatory fashion because I think he's earned the right to, have some respect shown his way. Now, I know a couple people earlier said, well, he's making $10 million. What a guy makes, I care less. I mean, all these guys are overpaid.
Yeah.
They're all overpaid. So what you
never
make,
made anybody 1 ounce smarter or more competent.
No. Or ready-made to win a championship. The fact that you're paid $10 million, well,
that's right.
You should expect more from, why? Because you're overpaid? I mean, they're all overpaid. And by
Who's
the way,
earning their paycheck out there in college football?
That's right. And here's the thing. Bino and I were talking about this earlier. Ron Rivera is now the general manager of the Cal Golden Bears football program, and Wilcox has to answer to him. That broke right before we came on the air today. You know what that tells me? That tells me that Ron Rivera loves coaching football and loves the sport of football so much that he wants to stay in it. And I've always told you down through the years, this concept of us throwing all this money at these coaches because, quote unquote, there's a market. Let me tell you something. If you told these guys, like they're trying to tell these college athletes, that there is now a cap on what you can make, every single stinking one of them would get out of the line, okay, and go back and reapply for their job for a fraction of what they're making. Now, that is a truth that Jimmy Sexton doesn't want you to believe, but that is, in fact, a reality. How do I know that? I look at guys like Mike Nolan, who are the belle of the ball, coaching in the spring league, coaching in the UFL. You know why? Because he wants to coach football. You know why Mike Dubose, when he lost his job at Alabama, went and coached high school football? He wants to coach football. And you, the sporting public, you worship these guys, you lionize these guys, you act like they've got the power to turn water into wine, and they're football coaches. And by the way, there's nothing wrong with that. But you know what they want to do? They don't want you to love and worship them. They just want to coach football. They didn't ask for $10 million, but the system pays them that. But at the end of the day, they just want to coach football. So there certainly is that, Bino. That's what these, and the thing about Heupel that worries me, Bino, is he might want to coach football more than he wants to recruit football players, and that would be a problem going forward. That's all. That's where I'm at. And that's a fair thing for me to wonder about, isn't it? You'd agree with that, right?
Yeah, absolutely. He's and we're going to see some new things either way, Tony.
Yep.
We're seeing him go into a fifth year. We've never seen him go into a fifth year before. What gives me hope is we'd never seen him go into a fourth year before, and he took a team to the playoffs in his fourth season.
Damn straight.
No question. I think that he's more of a coach than he is a recruiter, and which means that he has to have the right people on his staff. We'll see going forward if that's the case. If it's not, if he's willing to make it the case.
And by the way, I find Josh Heupel to be a guy who respects the opportunity he's been given.
Yeah.
Because I think a lot of coaches respect the opportunity. Some of them are horses' asses. We've seen them in all these sports. Most of these people just want to coach and love coaching. Love working with athletes, see them get better, committed to the trade. And that's worth celebrating. No doubt about it. In the meantime, I love you. Thanks, Bino. Look forward to talking to you Friday.
Thank you, Tony.
Yep. Matt will be in here tomorrow. We'll have a couple special guests as well. And I want to drill down on this baseball thing as well, what Tennessee's working in, getting in the portal. We'll have somebody on here tomorrow to discuss that as well. Till we meet again, for all those behind the scenes, I love you. I appreciate you. I thank you. It's a great, great pleasure serving you, being with you every day. Tremendous. I want to thank my friends at TLD Logistics. They're online at tldlogistics.com. Shout out to the rapper Andy. One go, we all go, bruh. One go, we all go. Till we meet again, I love you. Appreciate you. Peace. And G to the B to the O, and thank you, Bino. And now, without further ado, let's run it back today, shall we? Ba-da-ba. Oh, whoa, whoa, whoa.
WJBE 1040 AM 99.7 FM. Translator W259AB. Powell, Knoxville.
Basilio, ladies and gentlemen. Basilio. Let me Basilio, ladies and gentlemen. Basilio. Let me adjust my external volume in here for our folks listening on Twitter, Twitter Spaces, and where else are we? Twitter video. Over at shout out to my friends at YouTube today. YouTubers, I'm going to check in with you here in a little bit. So if you go to our YouTube channel at Tony Basilio Show and like and subscribe there. We are going to be doing a Tennessee basketball download video hopefully later this afternoon. But let me bring, without further ado, in here the great Bino Jeff Henderson, as Brian Hartman remains on assignment today. Bino, Jeff, we're flying solo today. Can we handle it? Lo, these many years, big boy.
I don't know, Tony. It'll be tough without Briny Boy, but we will endeavor to persevere.
I'm nervous, man. I'm nervous.
Always, Tony. It's a show of record.
Shout out to the underdog in life. If you're listening to me and you're the underdog, say you didn't come in through the front door, you had to come in through the back door. In whatever situation you're in, shout out to the underdog everywhere. Shout out to Bino's $10 bet over at VIP Play. Bino, if the boys cut it down from Coastal, how much will Bino Jeff win?
A big $75.
There you go.
And I may be banned from VIP Play after one $10 bet.
Well,
for being a shark.
Well, you are pretty sharp, Bino. I've called you.
Hey, Tony, I didn't do this on Friday. Do this on Friday, but should have. Happy Father's Day to all you fathers out there. I'm not one, but I had a great one. And I appreciate all of you. Shout out to Polly Joe after your call Friday, except one. I'm just kidding you, Polly Joe. I want to use your line on you.
Moms give birth, dads give life, my saying. Moms give birth, dads give life. I coined that. I believe it's accurate. JJ Spawn, there's a JJ Spawn in all of us, ladies and gentlemen. 5th player in the last 100 years to win the U.S. Open after never having made the cut at the event. This kid, Matt Dixon, reminded me, won the Knoxville Open like 7 or 8 years ago. This is a guy that played the Latin American Tour, the Canadian Tour, the South American Tour. Did I say Latin American? I don't know. Whatever they're calling it now. He's played every tour now. He's played in America, every tour basically on the undercard. Got in that spot, and extremely, extremely compelling watching those guys at the highest level struggle to get home. Had never finished top 20 in a major prior to yesterday. Went right through. And, all politics are local. We make that Final Four thing in basketball look so difficult. And a guy like that just gets on the stage and says, there's the ceiling. I'm going right through it. Never finished top 20 in a major prior to that. Had 6 bogeys in his final round. Most in the final round by a U.S. Open champion in the last 20 years. Was +5 yesterday after 6 holes and still won. I mean, I'm talking incredible here. I'm talking that's amazing. So, congratulations to him. And as the son of a mushroom grower, we always cheer for Spawn, Bino. We always cheer for Spawn because that's where your mushrooms come from. The seed, the spawn. So, I don't know if you watched any of the U.S. Open over the weekend. The other story I was talking with Bino about, this Coastal Carolina team last night, I'm watching that College World Series game. Their starter went out there and shoved for 7+. And, hey, I would not sleep on Coastal Carolina cutting them down after the first 3 days of that event, Beanstar. Would you?
They're in the best position of anyone right now, Tony. Somebody has to beat them twice to keep them from making the championship series, and they look like a really, really solid baseball team. And I guess their limitations are from the power side of things. In that ballpark, I'm not sure that that's a huge deficit.
It's amazing. If you have a few gap hitters in that ballpark, and you can just get the ball over outfielders' heads as they've been able to the first couple games, and then you can keep the other team in the ballpark with your pitching, you're going to have an excellent chance. Plus, they field it really, really well. I'm not picking on the 2025 edition of the Vols, Bino, but every team I've seen out there, with the exception of the second baseman from Arizona, every team I've seen so far in that field fields the ball exceptionally compared to us. All of them. These teams are all making plays, for the most part, right in front of them. The kids from Coastal are diving into fences, catching balls. Kid made an incredible catch against the wall yesterday. But it's been a fun College World Series so far. I've watched a great bit of it. So it's been really excellent, actually.
Yeah, I watched much more of it than I thought that I would, Tony. I didn't get an opportunity to see much of it on Friday, but Saturday and Sunday I've seen just about all of the action there. And, it's been good. And you're right. You get to, unless you just have, kind of a generational offensive team, when you get to that level, you have to take some hits away. And you can't give people extra outs.
That's all. And in that deal the other day, Arizona had a second baseman let a ball go under his glove. Even a play in college, you should make 99 out of 100 times. And it resulted instantly in 3 runs, because that's just how it works when you make an egregious error like that. So, Bino, you're a Yankee fan. What would have happened if the Red Sox would have traded Devers during your series? Would people have come in there and protested, and would that have been an ugly scene in Fenway? Because they had that deal done, but they waited till the weekend was over to announce it, Beanstar.
Well, of course they're going to wait until the Yankees are out of there. I mean, Devers has absolutely killed them. He's hit 31 career home runs on them. I think there's only 6 other Red Sox in history that have hit that many against the Yankees. He's been an absolute Yankee killer. I don't think the Red Sox are going to be as good without him, but I don't blame them in the least. There's only so much I won't do that a franchise can take.
Yeah, and the backstory is that got off to a bad start back in spring training when they asked him to play a different role. And he basically has been a diva the whole time, and he got sideways with their manager. And, hey, the Giants end up getting a potentially a franchise-type player who's under control. But to Bino's point, one player does not a team make. I don't care who the player is. And you're only going to put up with so much before you say, adios, see you, wouldn't want to be you. The next item on up for grabs this weekend was, Bino, you don't lurk around on Twitter, but Laura showed me this. And if you blow your review, you're done. So if you take your review of the first 5 minutes of the game and you don't get it, you're done. We're not going to go to... And then what they've also done is coaches are not allowed with inside 2 minutes... out to stir him all up. But at any rate, it got to the point where he tweeted out some questionable things and ended up with him deleting his Twitter account. Always a good sign, Bino, when you have to delete your Twitter account, when you just got to walk away and say, you know what? These people are on me like white on rice, like flies at a family picnic. Our Twidiots, Beanstar, have a way of buzzing around on people, and I don't know if it was the Twidiots. But it just seems like people under that banner of Vol Twitter have a way of just buzzing around on these people. And then Karen Weekly was out there, over the weekend, and she was complaining about the tampering. Karen, I love you, and I'd say it's any coach. Y'all can't complain about tampering. Y'all do it to each other. Come on now. Y'all do it to each other. Bino, can any of these coaches complain? She got a kid from Oklahoma a couple years ago, one of their best players. You think that girl just magically appeared on a roster? I mean, you think Tony Vols, like we've been talking about, you think those people tamper with other players on other rosters? Are you got to be kidding me?